What's going on, buddy? We're here. We're live. Welcome to a brand new Poker Live podcast. My name is Joey Grimmon, aka Chicago Joey. Before we get into it, all the podcasts are on iTunes. Search Poker Life. This podcast will be up there later tonight after we are done. And that's really it. That's all I got. Joining me today on the podcast is a young man who has been crushing it this year at the game of poker. He's a man that only really started playing poker a few years ago, started streaming full-time on Twitch, got the Poker Star sponsorship, threw in, I think, another Big Brother trip in between there at some point in time. Then he decided he went a little crazy. He hopped in the lab. He locked himself in the lab on the top floor. He didn't let himself out of the lab, I think, for about a few months in the poker lab and studying and getting better. And it's definitely been paying off as he has been crushing it super hard this year. A lot of results in a lot of these live tournaments. We're going to talk more about that, talk more about how exactly he's improved his game. And yeah, man, we're joined by Kevin Martin. You actually have a nickname, Kevin. Most people have a nickname, but you're just Kevin Martin. So it's there's no AKA to name for you. But what's going on, Kevin? Welcome back.
Hey, buddy. It's good to be on. We did this. What was it? I'm trying to think. The spring of 2016, or maybe I'm off. But we did this a while ago, and a lot's happened, and it's good to be back on. And I'm excited about, buddy. Lots to talk about. I follow the social media. You're playing a lot of the great game of PLO, and I want to talk to you about that because I've been dipping my toe into the PLO pool a little bit lately.
My God, you know how to get me excited over here. Wow.
Yeah. No, it'll be fun, man. This has been it's been the summer of greatness. It's everything that went right this summer went right for me. So it's pretty fun to experience that.
So let's talk about this summer you had so far. It looks like you've taken down, from what I can tell, I don't know if it's 3 or 4, because at some point in time, it seemed like you took tournaments down back to back. And then there was some tournament where you were negotiating with old guys. And I
yeah.
Or something. I saw, I got him confused. I'm like, how many tournaments this damn guy winning lately? So what exactly has been your results this summer, man?
So the final tally, during the summer, I just grinded, kept track of the results. But we did the tally lately, and we played $14,000 worth of buy-ins, 14,500. And we cashed for like 117,000 off of. So basically, round up the numbers to a whole number. $15,000 of buy-ins. We cashed for like 115,000. It was like an ROI of 700% or something, which is insane. Because first of all, in Calgary, Alberta, everyone who plays here knows the tournaments are fantastic here, Joey. Really, really soft. There's lots of good regulars here, but I mean, in general, the pool is pretty soft and the structures are really good. They only pay out 10%. It's super top heavy. Like if a summer goes well for you here, it can really, really, really go well, and thankfully it did. So end of July, we had a back-to-back ship, which is insane. We won it was a $400 main event. It was like 4 starting days. 280 people joined, and we just got really, really lucky. I hit a 1-outer with about 40 people left, sucked out against ace queen, ace 3, and from then just built up the chip lead, and we ran it the whole way. So we had back-to-back wins, which is incredible. They asked for a deal. They're like, hey, do we want to chop this up? It's 3 a.m, and I politely declined. That's another thing about live poker, because I keep going back and forth. I play a lot of online, stream full time. That's where the game, kind of gets worked on for me, playing all those hands. Like I'm not working on my game playing live poker, but another thing with live poker, which really came through to me this summer, is how long the days are and how important focus is. And during day 2, you're 14 hours in. You can see a lot of especially the older people. I think it's really hard on them. They almost just give up. Like they can't take it. They've been there for 14 hours, and the stress, it really gets to them. And that's you look at the field on day 1. There's a lot of old people. And when you get to the final 8, final 7, final 6 of a big event, it's just the young people are there. It's the final table is just all these young kids who are obviously working on their game and have that endurance. So. Yeah, it was good, man. One back-to-back. So I took that one down for 37,000. Rested for like 2 days, jumped in another. It was a one-day 1K that they were running here in Calgary. It was 70 people joined, so a little bit smaller. And ran that one too. Got to the final table as a medium stack. Won a huge flip, which is massive, and really pushed him around 3-handed, and then ran well heads up. So I mean, all these wins, run well. There's hands in each one where I got it in bad and won, which obviously you need in live tournaments. But it was incredible. It's truly, the edge is massive. Like as much as I ran well, like I really, really did well against these people and really crushed them. The live field is just really far behind.
Yeah, I think that's a function of a few different reasons. One, it being up in Canada, and and Calgary. I don't exactly know how many professional poker players or aspiring professional poker players there are that would be playing in these tournament series and at that time of year. So I would
Mhm.
imagine that the overall player field is probably going to be a little bit weaker in general. And also, you've been grinding a lot online this year and in past years, so your perception of what a weaker field is probably going to be a little bit different than a worse player out there. So when you've been grinding a lot of these tough tournaments with players who are from Germany and they're playing 16 hours a day and playing 25 tournaments at one time, when you go from playing with these guys to playing with the local Calgary guys, you're probably like, oh my God, what's going on? You're seeing things and you don't see much online.
Yeah.
So your perception is that, wow, this is really soft. So I would imagine that that's a big thing going on for you right now.
Yeah, I was joking with my buddy Ryan, who's been working on his game a lot lately. Shout out to Ryan Schubart. He's a new streamer on Twitch from Calgary. He's really doing well. I was like going, battling medium and even some high stakes because I've upped my average buy-in online this year. And like I'm not crushing the high stakes online. I think I'm breaking even in a lot of the games over $100. We have winning results in like the mid stakes and small stakes. We're doing really well. But I'm not gonna I'm definitely there's a lot more I could go to. I'm not some sort of wizard. I'm just an average kid who kind of worked hard for a while and still working hard. But yeah, I would say that these live 1Ks in Calgary, close to the Big 11. I mean, maybe even softer. The Big 11 online might be tougher than some of these fields for sure. It's just some of the stuff you see, some of the bet sizings and some of the, they don't put you in tough spots ever. Some people, everyone massively under bluffs. Everyone's scared of busting. Everyone shoves too tight. I made a tweet thread the other day. A lot of live players are just, it's their only activity for the day. They have their money. They go for 2 p.m. They want to play a long time. They're just afraid to take these spots. They're just way too tight across the board, and that's easy to play against. So yeah, soft fields for sure, and a lot of luck on my side. Like I could have played that schedule. I played 12 tournaments. I won 3 of them, chopped up another. Like I could have played that schedule over and over and over again, and these results definitely fall in like the top 2 percentile or top even 1 percentile. Like how well I ran was truly unbelievable.
I mean, isn't that how it always goes when you win tournaments though? I feel like for you to win a tournament, you have to get lucky. You got to get it in bad a couple times and win. I think that anytime that you win a tournament or have a series of run well, like you need to do, you can't win without doing that. So I still think that you have to play very well. And obviously, tournaments too, there are sometimes maybe you don't need to play that well, but I mean, to have those sort of results and then I don't know, to me, it just seems like, I do appreciate your modesty here, but at the same time, what the hard work leads to. I mean, we
Thanks,
go
buddy.
on the podcast, we talk about your aspirations and what your goals are for poker and how hard you're willing to work with it. And you put that work in and eventually it leads to something like that where the results come in there and the results come in this wave and there's some luck, but it's also a lot of skill and a lot of hard work. And a great example out there for poker players that have been following your story because you went from someone who never played much poker before, started, and I mean, we've seen the progression. People can follow along with you from that point in time until right now, and I think people know how hard you worked at it. So
for sure, buddy, I appreciate it. And another reason why I think my story is so cool is a lot of the people who start playing on Twitch. When Tonka started streaming, when Lex started streaming, when even Charlie Carroll or all these big names, they're certified winners, crushers. The stream came after. When I first started playing online, I fired up the big $7 and I was like, guys, I've never played tournaments before. I don't know what I'm doing. And it took a growing process. I lost for the first 4 or 5 months, and self-delusionally, I was like, oh, I'm just getting unlucky. And then I finally had a good player look at my numbers. It was Rob Tinian and then Elliot Rowe. They kind of looked at my numbers and like, basically they were nice about it, but they're like, you're not good. You suck. If you play this way, you're just not going to win. And so then he gave me the little doctor prescription. He's like, all right, Kevin, so you're streaming all this time. He's like, you got to cut this back and you need to study between 8 and 10 hours a week. It's like, that's your part-time job now. You're way behind the curve. You have to catch up. And so I did. I just listened to them and then picked up more fundamentals. Shout out to Raise Your Edge. I mean, I think they're the best training tool. Like, I'm not good at creating my own strategies. If you gave me a game, like me and my brothers play board games all the time, and they pick it up way, way, way faster. They just can think of these new strategies. I'm not like that. But as soon as, you give me Google and I'm able to research optimal strategies, I'm really good at memorizing other people's strategies. And so like with poker, I'm just memorizing what Raise Your Edge is teaching me. It's like, oh, I know that this is a 4-bet bluff hand here. I have to 4-bet bluff. It's like I'm just kind of following the manual, which I think is really good because I mean, long-term profit really comes from people making, good decisions and not getting too fancy. While the high stakes poker days of Tom Dwan, like 5 betting, do 7 or whatever, like the crazy street poker, that's pretty cool. And I'm sure that works at some level. For me, the strategy to success is just like fundamentals. And while I'm super aggressive and I'll take the spot, I'm not getting out of line with hands that I shouldn't be.
Yeah, that sounds like it sounds so basic and easy when you put it like that, right? It's learn your fundamentals, play a fundamental strategy, play a fundamental range construction pre-flop and post-flop, but the actual execution and then the discipline to stick with that and to not, I feel like it's really easy for us to have that approach when we're winning or we're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
We lose one hand and all of a sudden the animal comes out inside and we're just opening up the Jack 7 soft suit and we're 3-betting the 3. It's just like, I don't know what, even me sometimes still playing now. I'm doing well. I'm crushing. I'm up buy-ins. I lose one pot. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, fuck this guy. I want to, and I think that's what happens with a lot of poker players out there is that emotion just overcomes them and they just can't stop themselves from not doing something that's out of line. And to me, it seems like with your mental game side of things, it seems like that's something that you don't have a big issue with, or do you feel like that is an issue with you?
I don't know whether it was the way I was raised or something, but when stuff got unlucky, I never really got frustrated or flustered. And you kind of saw that on Big Brother a little bit, is like there would be yelling matches, people would be yelling in my face, and I'd just be like, okay, like I don't know. I can really control my emotions in certain situations. Like I am an emotional person, but yeah, with cards, I'm usually able to take it on the chin and just, understand that it's a long-term game. So tilt and that stuff. I mean, sometimes I'll get frustrated, but that doesn't mean I'll deviate from the strategy that I've learned. So that's always kind of been a good thing for me getting into poker, because I've seen a lot of my good friends are even more, very skilled. But when they deal with the bankroll issues and, if you lose a couple K at sports betting, you're leaking at the blackjack table. It's just like you're not going to succeed no matter how good at poker you are. So thankfully, I've never been a degenerate. I put $20 on blackjack at Run It Up Arena last time and I lost. I'm like, guys, the house has such a big edge here. Like, this isn't fun for me. like let's not do this. So thankfully that's been a side of my poker game that I've never struggled with. But I know that a lot of people do have tilt issues, bankroll management issues, but thankfully I've avoided that.
Yeah, I just fixed the audio, guys. They said Kevin was a little bit louder, so let me know if it's better in the chat. I see some people in there already commenting. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Poker Live podcast live stream. I'll be doing about 2 of these a week here for the foreseeable future, hopefully. And I'm excited to kind of get back after here with Kevin. I've been trying to get something back on here with Kevin for a little bit of time here. We had something before. I think it was somewhere around Big Brother after you got out of Big Brother last time, and then maybe like I went into a out of line summer or something like that. I don't remember. It all blends together to me at this point.
Me too, man. The time has flown by. Like, it's been a lot of stuff happened in the last 3 years, and yeah, I remember doing that first podcast with you, and that was before I went back on Big Brother the second time and got the W. Yeah. And it was just a young lad, fresh face. We're a little bit more, a little more experienced now. Still young, still early 20s, but life's good, Joey, man. I feel like after I won that last tournament, I'm like, is this real life? Like the Truman Show, where sometimes you feel like, it's like, is this rigged? Like I'm not supposed to. Everything that's happened, I've been on such a good trajectory. It's a lot of hard work, but I feel like I've ran super well in life to get everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I felt when I first had some of my first big upswings. I'm like, I'd look at you look at the bankroll, you're like, this has to be or something like that. There's no, because you dream about it. You like fantasize about this at night. You're in the shower, you're talking to your friends, you're laying down, you're saying, God, what would it be like if I had this amount of money or if I made this amount from poker? And then once you actually can do something like that, you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What do you sort of do now? And I guess that's a good question kind of for you. Are you still studying the 8 to 10 hours a week right now? And from there, how do you sort of assign goals for yourself? Because I remember in the question the other day, you mentioned about just kind of figuring out what those goals might be.
Yeah.
Goals more of in a live setting focused, or are they going to be an online setting focused, or some sort of combination of both?
I don't know, man. If you have any insights to me, that's kind of what I'm figuring out right now. Like, the stream's been amazing, and there's definitely, it could get bigger. Like, I see some of the, there's multiple streams that are bigger than my stream, and I'm like, oh my God, that community is huge. I could definitely try to take it to the next level. But when I first got into poker, I number one wanted to beat the game. And number two, I wanted to provide some financial security for myself. And luckily, I've been able to accomplish both of those things. So right now, I'm in a phase where I need to figure out what those goals are. Like, I'm not crushing high stakes online. Do I want to get to that level? That's really tough. I think I could push there and sacrifice some other things in my life to get there. Is that something I want to do, or are the other things I want to get into? So right now it's not like soul searching, but I am trying to reset a bunch of my goals. It's been like 20 days since I've last streamed or something in my community. It's like, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? I'm like, I'm coming, guys. Just let me figure out, when I come back, what is the mission? I'm a very goal oriented person. So yeah, maybe it's mixed games. Like I said, I watched a couple PLO training videos the other day. Crazy game, man. No one folds to 3-bets in PLO, eh? It's
the motto, you don't fold a 3-bet Omaha, so it's true. But I as much as I am on a mission to have everyone play Pot Limit Omaha, it would seem to me right now you're kind of peaking with No Limit Hold'em. Then I don't advocate this very often, Kevin. This is a very rare thing, but I would almost say maybe stick with No Limit Hold'em for a little bit and kind of let's see what you can do there. But the great game Pot Limit Omaha is always calling, or we're always here. I'm always down to help you out and do some sort of sweat session with you or any sort of coaching, get you
for sure.
Of a game if you do decide to go down PLO path because.
So I think that's one of my goals is I want to become a winner in all the mixed games. Like, I mean, the tournaments, PokerStars runs all these tournaments. Like, I feel like if I put 5 hours of work into, deuce to 7 single draw, I think I could win. I think these mixed games don't require a lot of work to get to a winning stage. So I kind of want to learn them. And then with other things, like we kind of chatting before the podcast started. When I was in my young 20s, I was like 21. I loved attention. I was like, oh my God, I was on social media 24/7. That's why I went on Big Brother. Is one of the reasons is I really wanted fame and I really wanted people to recognize me and know my name. And now that I'm 25, I don't know whether it's getting older or it's just like fame and attention is far down the list now on things that I value. And, privacy is rising up the list and fame is going down the list. I'm not as active on social media right now. It's just like I feel like I'm getting old. I feel like I'm a simpler man. It's been a crazy ride though. Like you were saying, you dream of these things. And when I was 19, to pay for my radio college, I was tree planting, and I would wake up every morning at 6. We'd go out to the fields, and like I remember I'd carry all these trees, and it's 12 cents a tree. So I'd work like all day, 12 cents a tree, make a couple $100. The whole summer I worked my ass off when I was 19, 20. And I made like $13,000 in 3 months of hard, like backbreaking work. I was like, oh my God, this is so, difficult. And then fast forward a couple months, a couple years, everything's fallen together. We won Big Brother, 6-figure score. We just had a 6-figure summer. It's just like, what has happened? This is unbelievable. I kind of wish there was a tiny little piece of me. I wish I was around during the poker boom days, like the 2004, 2005, 2006. To see because I feel like we're in a poker boom now. What is it? What I've been able to accomplish? I'm not some sort of super. Anyone could do this with the right work ethic and time. I'm not anything special. And so it's like still feel like we're in the poker boom now. But what people talked about back then, people talked about like money raining from the sky if you sat at a poker table.
Yeah, I think it's about kind of reconfiguring what the poker boom or poker, whatever that is to us. Because I do think that it's still possible right now to be able to make a healthy living for yourself at other cash games or at tournaments. I don't necessarily know. I'm going to have to take other tournament players' words for that. But I know at cash games, live and online, it's still very possible. Whereas 2004, 2005, maybe it was just, I think it was more people making a larger amount of money, and it was easier to go from zero to be able to making that larger amount of money. Whereas nowadays the poker boom is still possible, but then we look at what you just said, and it said if you're willing to put that work in, and that whether you're willing to or whether you are able to configure your life where you can actually find that out, or even understanding what put the work in means. I mean, that's a whole nother Pandora general on its own. So I think it's still possible, but you either have to get really lucky or you have to put a lot of effort, which is, I think, what we've seen you do. But yeah, I mean, you're a great example for that. It's still very possible. And this is just, I mean, I feel like you're still at the start of your poker career. You're only,
I think so too.
Like right now, we're not peaking right now, where it's a temporary peak for something that really is probably only going to keep getting bigger and bigger if you choose to stay focused on it. But
for sure.
Kind of the thing is, if you will stay focused on it, that's something I feel like you would be, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, we'll see where the goals align. Just a little bit of soul searching right now, I guess, is the word I keep coming back to. I've been getting into psychology and motivations and been doing a lot of podcasts and researching why people do this guy's been homeless on the street for 10 years. Why is he there? Or, this kid is a multi-billionaire at the age 25. Why is he there? What are these choices these people are making? What are their motivations? And kind of trying to figure out the psychology behind why people are making certain decisions. But I imagine, yeah, I think we'll hit the lab right away soon here and get back on it. It's just too much fun. At the end of the day, there's ups and downs, but the game of poker is just it's just a hell of a lot of fun. To ride, as long as you can ride those waves. Those peaks are so fun.
Yeah, the peaks are fun. Obviously, the valleys can make you question your life. You question if you win at poker again, make you want to drive off the bridge. I mean, there's some of these emotions that come with losing at poker that people can't deal with.
For sure.
Themselves to that positive point in poker too. So
yeah.
So
yeah, it's like we had. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh yeah. Finish that thought. We were just saying.
So like you're right. I think this is completely normal too. But like I just had the massive summer where everything went right. It's just everything's crazy, good. It's easy to be like, it's easy to relax and lose focus.
Sure.
And when everything's going right for people, you see this all the time in sports or poker. People just like they take the pedal off the metal and they say, oh, I've made it, or a finish is like, there's a lot farther that you could go. So yeah, I'll get back in the game for sure.
I mean, I guess it's about finding out if you want to go farther than that. It's I think about myself in terms of maybe what I've done with podcasting or content poker. And I know I've certainly taken, my aspirations used to be huge. I wanted to be like, when I started in the podcast, I said, okay, I want to have the best podcast in poker. And then from there, I want to do a mainstream podcast. Like, I want to get more well-known, or I want to build up my profile or build up that. I want all these people to watch it. And then this past year or two, or I'm like, that's not necessarily as big a goal or as important or anything like that. And kind of now it's really understanding myself and understanding what makes myself up, and kind of answering all these questions that I believed growing up and figure out why I believe in them. And you talked about the idea about wanted to get fame and well known, and now that you're here and you've had that for a little bit, you don't necessarily desire that as much anymore. And I feel exactly the same way, because when I started playing poker, I made my poker name my name, because with that, I wanted the glory. I was like, I'm going to get to high stakes one day. I want everybody to know my name. And I think you kind of grow up in North America and you're taught that fame.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we aspire. Look, we look up to these people so much that we should want to get to that point.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that for my own self, like having some of that in poker to a very small degree. Like, I'm not sure. I don't know, man. I get it. But it's something that I got to say that it used to drive me, but it doesn't really drive it sort of now. And it kind of sounds like it's having a similar effect on you too when you think about it.
Yeah. Well said. I mean, you've done some good work. What is that? Is that a GPI award behind you there, Poppy? What is? I mean, look at the work you've done.
Year. I mean, yes.
That is, not many people have those GPI poker awards, dude. That is rare and special.
What, do you have one?
No, man. I mean, that should be my goal. The GPI, that should be my new thing to strive towards. I got nominated for Streamer of the Year one time, which was super cool. I got in the top 4, and Mr. Somerville won the award. I actually accepted the award from Mr. Somerville. Yeah, I went on the stage, and people thought it was quite hilarious.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, didn't award? Wait a second. No,
I accepted. I held Jason's GPI award. But that's really well said, that whole topic of, man, like, you look at YouTube and the top YouTubers right now, the Logan Pauls, the Jake Pauls, the KS, or, it's all just like very clickbaity confrontational. You see these massive numbers and this fame, but I feel like while the fame is very wide, it's very shallow, It's just like short and fleeting, and that's something that I don't really want to strive for. Even with my community on Twitch, I was talking about, obviously big numbers are cool, but I always wanted depth. I'd rather have fewer viewers and more of a community, more people that supported me instead of the wide and shallow. So that's kind of how I always looked at it. Yeah. I feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm a 40-year-old, but I'm not. I'm still 25. But yeah, the last 5 years I've definitely changed and grown, and I think that's good in your young 20s.
Do you think that's because you're in a relationship and maybe the relationship sort of is overtaking those ideas? Because maybe you had sort of tied the idea of fame or the be well known with potential meeting women out there, potential success, and those sorts of things. And now that you've met a woman that you care for greatly and you've had the success that you strived after, you're saying, well, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
You think that's a factor in this as well too?
I mean, Peely's great, man. We've been dating. We had a break there for a while, but basically 3 years. Yeah, I love her, dude. She's incredible and the most supportive girl. Every time I had a final table, she came and sweated it and watched. Even though she's not a poker person, which is really nice. It's really nice to date someone that you can't really complain a bad beat to or something. She doesn't really, she understands the game, but not to a higher level. She's fantastic. I love her. She's like really supportive and really perfect. Um, I think that's part of it too. Being in that 1920 stage and I had a taste. I can't imagine how A-list celebrities live. The Michael Jacksons, the Justin Biebers, the true A-list. I had a small taste. I had like 5 minutes of feeling the celebrity, and it was D-list and it was fleeting. But I was there for a couple of minutes. Reality television fame is truly the shortest. And it was fun, but at the same time, I realized that if this was, for those people that can't go to the grocery store, I do not envy their way of life. I truly don't. It's too much.
So what didn't you like about it? What do you think that, like, where was it overwhelming?
Just multiple meaningless conversations. Oh, hi, Kevin. How are you? I liked you on the show. Oh, hi. What's your name? Nice to meet you. Just the same repetitive couple-minute conversation. And I just, I met hundreds and hundreds of people that I couldn't even remember their names or I'll never remember again, And yeah, like I said, I like the smaller social circle, but more depth to the conversation.
Don't you feel like that still happens now, even with you having a Twitch community? Because I'm sure you still get a lot of messages from people that are poker, and they still end up being these repetitive conversations oftentimes that you sort of say the same thing or it's similar questions. I feel like I get that a lot, where I get a lot of questions, a lot of interactions, but oftentimes they're very similar and they've been the same exact questions now for years. And I enjoy talking with them sometimes during the day, but other times it's more like, I'm doing it because like I feel like I have to do it. But I don't know. The questions don't really change. Maybe it's just poker specific or what. I don't know if it's like that everywhere. But
yeah, no, I hear you, buddy, for sure. It's pretty well said. So what are your goals the next couple of years? Is the podcast going to keep growing? Do you want a second GPI poker award here?
I'm not sure if I'm into this whole idea of growing, and I feel like the obsession about growing and is this like numbers or like whatever. I think for me right now, it's sort of just figure out myself and get myself a lot more organized and structured and be able to handle taking on new things in my life.
Yeah.
Where I start taking on new things in my life, because I've noticed that I just like to add on projects and I have all these ideas and I get involved with all these different things in my mind. And then when it comes to them, I'm such a shit planner and organizer that I wake up and I'm like, all right, well, I want to do 25 things today, but I don't know how to get 25 things done. So we're just trying to start back at the beginning, figure out how I can be a good person in the world instead of just a selfish person who's focused on only my success at what I'm doing with my career. So I think that's a big goal right now, and still continue to play the great game of Potman Omaha.
For sure. Optimizing your life. I feel like we're very similar. I think we're very similar where we get so excited for stuff and it's like, oh, I'm going to do this. And then all these ideas build up and a lot of times they don't get done. Remind me, I have to send you, dude, I watched a lecture this other day. This professor gave this beautiful presentation on procrastination. And he's like, why do people do it? And he really dived into the psychology behind it. And I think I learned a lot, man. I had chronic procrastination before of these big ideas that never got done. I think we're very similar in that way. I should send that to you. I think you'd enjoy it.
What was the big takeaway for you from that?
The big takeaway is that procrastination is your willpower is like a muscle, basically explained. Your willpower is like a muscle, and doing stuff that you don't want to do is really tough. Let's say I have a bunch of emails I have to answer. Oh, that sucks. That's boring. It's way easier for me to go on YouTube and load up a video, and yes. It's making these bad decisions for short-term gain. But the way you have to think about it is for your future self. When Kevin is 26, will he appreciate the decisions that 25-year-old Kevin made? And you really have to. He talked about like if you had a son or a child, you would do anything for them. You would discipline them. You would make sure they're making good decisions for their life. He's like, why don't you do that for yourself? It's very, very similar. And he dived into it a lot, and it's really, really good. I'm sure I'm still going to struggle with some procrastination in the future, but it's very well done.
I've been learning this is how you get better at it, though, is sort of the constant focus on it. And kind of like why I asked you is because for you, just explaining it helps not only you out, but helps me out, but also helps people out there out. That's something I really try to work at lately, is just explaining the things I'm learning, whether it's or externally to someone else or just to internally typing to myself and sort of reading it back is because I feel like I took a lot of great information in, but it wasn't necessarily sticking in my mind because my mind was elsewhere as I was taking that in, just the idea of being mindful.
Yeah,
So I feel like that has
for
a lot
sure.
of the idea of procrastination. And also, I think
Do you,
planning have to play a pretty big part. Do you feel like you're a planner, an organizer who structures themselves or they structures their life in a certain way?
always struggled, but getting better, really getting better at it and following plans and getting tasks. And that negative feeling of like, oh shit, I don't want to do that task. I've really tried to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It's like, oh God, I got to do my taxes right now. This sucks. Like I could just go watch Rounders or something. That's much more fun. Just like embracing that uncomfortable, shitty feeling and just powering through and making that more part of your life and facing the task. So I think I'm getting slightly better at it. By the way, I wanted to ask you, this is what is that? Remind me of this book you wrote. Well, I was trying to find it the other day. I was trying to Google it. It's on Amazon. What's the book?
Dream the Qualities of Successful Poker Player. Debatably my favorite book I've ever read. And yes, it was the best decision I ever did was to write that book. I learned a lot about. But yes, it's on Amazon right now.
Oh, here it is. Chasing the Poker Dream. The qualities. Joe, 3.5 stars. You got some bad ratings here. What's going on?
So listen, some of the reviews on there, I've read them. I understand where they're coming from, and I can't disagree with their take on it. So I get where they're coming. But listen, if you can't find a piece of value in that book that's going to make you better at poker and better at your life, I question you as an individual. So I question the people, that one person that gave that the lower rating there. I question how much effort they are really putting into finding the value from that book, because there's absolutely no chance. There's not a goddamn chance in the world you can't find $9.99 worth of value from it. It's just impossible. There's too much good stuff in there.
Dude, $7.63 on Kindle right now.
See, it's impossible. But yes, I wrote that book, did not market that book well. And, as someone who feels like they're getting a lot better at marketing and advertising, I'm disappointed in myself at the marketing.
This one guy's review, 2 stars. It's just a bunch of messy notes and some good ideas, but it's a mess.
He's coming. I'm not arguing with the guy.
Yeah, dude, man, it's more of a him problem than a you problem for sure. That's one thing again, this is a long-term goal, but I definitely want to write a book too and really try to hammer home some ideas. The life of professional poker. I mean, I think for a 25-year-old, I think I've done some shit. I think writing a book, and specifically the first person perspective of Big Brother was almost like a psychedelic trip. Like it was messed up. It was weird. It was like nothing like I've ever experienced, being in isolation. And, before the show starts, they put you in a hotel room for 10 days and you can't leave. They're just like, that's called the sequester period. And like all this behind the scenes stuff that people don't get is really fascinating, and the psychological effect behind it. So I think a book is going to come out in the future or something.
Well, why not? Why not write a book? I mean, there's really, I think for writing a book, for me, it doesn't even matter if anyone buys the book. I feel like you learn so much and just an introspection when you're actually writing the book and in the process of planning it, that more than enough is the value right there, is just
for sure
thoughts and having some deep focused thought and emphasis and just really diving into your mind and figuring out, okay, what did I think about this situation? How did I feel in the situation? So
yeah, it's more about getting my thoughts on the page. And I mean, I think people could definitely enjoy it for sure. I think there's people that's interested, but more of a it's more for me thing.
But you're a Big Brother winner, kid. Of course you're gonna be interested. I mean, come on. People are like obsessed with that show, dude. It's insane.
Yeah.
It is insane how obsessed some of the people are. I mean, it makes sense. You're basically super engaged with these people's lives for a set period of time where you get to see and learn all about them and feel like you know them, and then they leave and you still want to know them. So it makes sense. People are so obsessed with people that have been on the show.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, it's definitely there in my mind, but right as soon as the show ended, like I never watched season 5, even though I won, which is obviously amazing. I haven't watched it for some reason. I've never loaded it up and never watched the DVDs. And like right as soon as I left, I took lots of steps to make sure I could get back into real life very quickly. I went on a vacation, and then I went and saw a therapist who helped me really understand and got me back to a normal way of thinking pretty quickly. But it's a trippy one, man. I think a lot of alumni, I can speak on behalf of the Big Brother community, that a lot of alumni do have some mental health issues right after the show, and some anxiety and some depression sometimes. I think most people come out okay, but it's trippy, man. Being in an like enclosed environment, being viewed by millions. Like you see the same 14 people for 3 months straight, and there's no other interaction, and then you're in a paranoid state. Sometimes you can't eat food, and then you go out into the world and you are some sort of this D-list celebrity. It's weird, and a lot of people have trouble with it. Obviously an amazing experience, but there's some bad effects to it too.
What do you think some of those bad effects are for people?
I mean, a lot of these people they cast are A-list people. They cast big personalities. Sometimes they cast wild people, crazy people that put into this environment are going to react, give blow-ups, and give you that good television. That's like the equation they have, and so put these people in a stressful environment, 3 months, and then they lose or they win, and then you're back into real life, and all of a sudden you have all these Twitter followers and you have all these people. It's just a lot of information nonstop, and a lot of people can't turn it off. And when I was 21 and I did it, I really got affected. I would see people tweet at me, "You suck," you're awesome. There was good and there was bad, and I would really have lows when I saw hate online, and I would really have highs when I saw good things. And it really affected like me as a young person. But now it's like if I read stuff, I'm really just like able to laugh it off, or but I think it affects a lot of the other people for sure.
It's hard not to. Someone tells you that they want you to die, or you suck, or you. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you understand it for sure.
Especially if you have some sort of self-confidence issues, or if you feel like you've done not much in your life to justify this celebrity or this status that you have. This person's digging into your insecurities and I mean, it's really easy. I think that for me personally, if I didn't have the success I've had at poker and then success with my podcast, a lot of comments that people say are just whether they're trolling or whether they're trying to get the attention or whether they're serious would affect me for sure. But I think that a lot of like now I'm never going to see these people. It doesn't matter. If I want to read them, and I'm probably going to block them if they send them to me. But I forget about them pretty quickly. So I imagine that if you didn't have that sort of self-confidence and belief in yourself that you can what people say, it's gotta be tough. And then obviously when you come out of that Big Brother experience and you have all these fans, you mentioned you want to start monetizing this or you want to start leveraging this, but a lot of times you got no idea what you're doing, and that's stressful on its own right there too. And I imagine.
By the way, can I tell us, this is a bit of a PG-13 story, maybe 14A. Can I tell this? This is my favorite interaction with a person after Big Brother.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
I mean, it's my favorite interaction is like, so I just got off the show. I just won. I'm already like, and we had this event where we were going to go make an appearance at a club. Club sold out. Like it's hyped. This is this is my first day being back in the real world. Again, if you're under 18, I don't know why you're listening to a poker podcast, but earmuffs anyway. So anyway, I
turn it off. Out of line moment coming, I think.
I go into the club and, there's a lot of people trying to say hello or whatever. Just it's mayhem, right? And this girl grabs me. I've told this story on the stream a few times. This girl grabs me very aggressively, grabs my face, whispers in my ear, "Hey, Kevin, how are you feeling tonight? Do you want to have a mother-daughter experience tonight?" Whoa. Thank you for the offer. Like, no, thank you. I mean, that's very kind of you. It's flattering. Don't really think about it much later. 10 minutes later, an older lady, like 50s, grabs me, says, "Hey, like, me and my daughter are offering you something special tonight." Like they in tandem approached me trying to pick me up, this mother and daughter combo. Like, whoa, this is the first time I've interacted with humans in like 3 months. I'm like, have I forgotten? Is this normal? So yeah, my favorite moment was a mother-daughter tried to pick me up aggressively at this club right after the experience. I mean, if you're into that, it's pretty wild.
Sorry, are you going to finish the story?
I mean, I respectfully declined. I did. I went right to my buddy Arlie. I respectfully declined. I told my buddy Arlie, I told him the story. He's like, "Where are they? I have to find them." The word got around pretty quickly, and they became somewhat famous that they were at this bar trying to pick up Big Brother alumni together.
Are these people, is the mother-daughter, are they well known now as well?
They got a little bit of infamy. Yeah, people recognize the name for sure.
You were dating someone at the time?
No, I mean, no, not officially. Peely was there, and we were pretty close, but no, I respectfully declined. It was they weren't attractive. They weren't, and I was just a little bit blown away by the whole offer. I mean, they obviously had done it before. Like they had this
We've done it before.
like this wasn't their first rodeo. They had a strategy and how to approach me, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm a little conflicted. I don't know. You've seen Rounders, right? You've seen Rounders before?
So many times.
You know, when Mike McD, he's at home, and his girlfriend finally, Joe, she moves out. She takes the stuff. She's gone. I don't know how she moved it all herself
Yeah,
out of there. And then my girl Famke Jansa, whatever, I think that's her name. She comes over. You know, she works at the club. They're Russian. Maybe her and Mike used to have a thing.
yeah.
He comes over. They're both watching World Series of Poker.
Eric Seidel.
Yep, she offers herself to Mike McD, and Mike McD says no. And I think a lot of people that watch that said, "Come on, that's not realistic. That didn't actually happen."
Yeah.
His character says no in that situation. I feel a similar thing right here. I don't know. Like I don't know. I feel like if I was you, 20-year-old strapping young man, Big Brother winner, and I get approached by a mother and daughter at a nightclub for the story.
No, it was a hell of a story. By the way, in that movie, okay, what is the blonde girl's name? What's her name? Remind me. Sorry, the mic cut out. Anyway, the girl that is dating Mike, right?
Her name is Joe.
Yeah, the show, she leaves Mike because Mike is like picking himself up, promised he'd never gamble again. He does, loses his bankroll or whatever. The show tries to vilify her. I think she made the right choice, by the way. Mike is definitely the villain at the start.
No, she 100% made the right choice. Yes,
she did. Yeah, but the show tries to vilify her as she's like, if I was dating a partner and they had a gambling, obviously he has some bankroll management issues. Obviously he has some problems with that. If my spouse promised never to gamble again, and I found out that they were doing it behind my back and lying about it, like, I mean, she's a young, attractive woman. She's a lawyer. She made the right decision. The show definitely tried to vilify her, but I'd never understood that.
Yeah, you have this guy who aspires to be a professional poker player, and he took all of his money and then lost it all in one night, and then driving a truck. I mean, of course, I can understand her desire to want to leave, and she lied to her, as you mentioned. She had to find the bank. What did she call? I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
She find the roll of money in the bathroom while he was showering because he was out all night and didn't tell her. So I can understand her wanting to leave in that situation.
I saw an article today or on Twitter that today is the 20th anniversary of Rounders. It was released today, 20 years ago. Yeah. It wasn't like it didn't kill it at the box office, but I mean, it definitely had a huge movement in the poker boom. And I remember watching that when I was like 14, and me and my friends would play for like quarters or whatever, and we'd watch Rounders, and poker was huge, man. Everyone was playing home games back then too. When I was in junior high, it was a wild time.
Yeah, I wasn't involved in the junior high home game circuit in my where I grew up at, but I imagine it got pretty ruckus with the $10 buy-ins and the
$5 buy-ins.
When I was 18, I got involved with those $10, $20 buy-ins, and we definitely watched Rounders. But I think World Series of Poker was more on television around then too. I think it started to become more on TV right around the same time Rounders came out. I think in like '99 or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and from everything I hear from when you talk about people that are a little bit older and started playing poker, they all started playing Rounders. And I think if you go back and watch it now, it's still really good. I mean, I don't know about the whole, like, he tells Teddy KGB about his tell. I'm probably not going to tell a guy. I'm not going to say I noticed your tell with the cookies. Like, that doesn't make much sense to me to reveal the tell of the guy. But still a very good movie to watch still today.
Very good. I mean, I like the Doug Polk videos where he analyzed the hands and the bet sizes and stuff, and it was pretty funny stuff. Classic, man. One of my favorite movies of all time for sure. They were talking about a sequel for a while, like a couple years ago, but then the Harvey Weinstein stuff happened. I think he was the one talking about the sequel, so maybe never again.
Harvey Weinstein's leading the sequel charge, and it's not going to be good for the potential of that movie. But yeah, I listened to a podcast. I was actually listening to a podcast trying to fall back to sleep earlier this morning about a Rounders number on the Ringer. So it's a great podcast. They kind of broke it down, and
Ed Norton, incredible movie.
Yeah, I really love hearing people that don't play poker talk about a poker movie and talk about poker in general, because it goes to show kind of like they understand the basics, but they kind of talk about it in a way they don't understand it completely.
Yeah.
And then I wonder how well those people understand other genres of things that they claim they understand, but then I don't understand too, because when I hear them talk about poker, I'm like, and you kind of laugh about it. So it's
They're a perfect example of this is I had one friend, he was like big boxer guy, is really, really cool, very cool guy. And he would talk about stuff with such certainty. It's like you would bring up a subject, he'd bring up hiking. He's like, oh yeah, I hiked like 15 kilometers once. And he had all these massive stories, and he told them in a very believable way. And he talked about all these things. And then one day he brought up chess, and he told the story about him beating a grandmaster in a certain amount of moves. And I knew a little bit about chess, and finally I was able to call bullshit and be like, no, this didn't happen. You know, all these other huge stories he talked about were things I didn't know about. And then as soon as he talked about chess, I was like, oh wow, this is okay. So he's this guy, you know. Told a story about beating some grandmaster in, you know, one of the 4-move games or whatever. I was like, okay, I know enough that that's not true. And you see that talk about my favorite thing poker players talk about, you know, instantly you have a player who doesn't really gets it. I hear this all the time, especially playing live poker. They say, you know, I'm better against good players. I really suck against the players that don't know what they're doing. Oh man, I'm like, what kind of concept is that? What?
Yeah, that's a insta. Listen, if you're out there and that's you, that's the insta tell that you're there. And I get where they're coming from, because I think that maybe it's more straightforward. They think that if they bluff against a good player, the good player is fold. Whereas if they try to bluff in a spot they perceive as correct, if they do that against a bad player, the bad player calls. They can't believe the bad player had that hand. They can't believe they're called. So in their mind, I think that they feel like it's easier to be able to bluff, specifically bluff only, but they don't realize that you have value, and it's much easier to get value from a bad player than it is a good player. So when you do hear that, that's why the statement is so fishy, because you don't like. I mean, no, it probably maybe it is to them. I don't know. Like, I mean, So what do you think from with it when they say that? When they say that,
I mean, they're just like they're just so salty about bad beats. Like, you know, it just hurts to lose. And when people are losing at poker, there's variance, but a lot of times they're just not beating the game, right? And people come up with a lot of self-justifications. Oh, you know, I'm unlucky, or, you know, people justify them losing for a long time just because of variance. Because there is variance in poker, but if you're using that as a crutch, you know, who said it one time? It was a great quote. It's like, all right, if you're running well, beating the game, work on your game, get better. If you're running bad, losing, work on your game, get better. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, at any stage, you should just be trying to get better. Another thing this summer of live poker, where I played a lot of live poker, something that I did really, really well is Ben has really been trying to teach me just exploitative play. GTO, I know GTO is a way of life for you, and that's a great fundamentals. Gotta learn the fundamentals. But at the same time, overbet, underbet. You know, if he is a really weak part of his range, bet a 7th of the pot on the river to get value. Or, you know, if he's capped to 4th pair, 2x pot, bet the river. And I did this a lot playing live poker. Is people played their hands in a way that defined their range. You know, I have a boat, and, you know, the way the hand played out, he's very weighted towards a flush. Bet 2 times the pot. Is he going to fold a flush? No, probably not. So just really, really try to exploit people and their weaknesses for sure.
Yeah, and you're talking about Ben CB, and he has
the Master.
Right, he has Raise Your Edge, right? That's his site.
Yeah, very good. I promote it because I've been hunting for training material for a long time, and I think from the start to the finish, it's from A to Z the best content out there, in my personal opinion. Upswing is probably great, and there's a lot. Run It Once is great. Done some videos there, but I think in terms of upping your poker game in the fastest amount of time possible, I think Raise Your Edge is the way, personally. I mean, it kind of sounds like an ad. I truly believe in the product, though. You know?
Raise Your Edge right now. You'll get one personalized video from me and Kevin.
Yeah.
We break down Omaha tournament strategy. Use the promo code Big Kevin, Big Poppy. No, there's no. I don't know. Give him an affiliate code. Listen, we love affiliates around here. Give him an affiliate code for this course. I might want to take this course.
I do have some links, you know. Great place to start out is go to their YouTube channel. In terms of free content, a lot of people you can't buy these master classes. A lot of people can't buy these things for $1,000 or $900. Go to their YouTube channel. They have like free content available right away. So that's where I push a lot of people. That's the main question I get on Twitch when I'm streaming is, how do I get better? You know, I'm playing small stakes. How do I get to the mid stakes? I'm playing mid stakes. How do I win? And you got to put in the time. The day of logging on hungover Sunday morning, 8 a.m., 9 tabling, winning. It's just not there. You just got to work hard. You got to focus. Elliot Rowe talks about it a lot too. Is if you're not focused and engaged, if you're not looking at showdowns, if you're not getting reads, if you're not looking people up on SharkScope, you're giving away like money actively. You know, if you have 6 tables of online poker going, have some music, maybe a podcast, but if you're studying for a midterm on the side, you're not going to win.
What do you think was some of the best things that you've learned through your study? Because you mentioned studying 8 to 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
I think what were some of the big takeaways that you in that process?
I mean, be more aggressive. I think a huge leak with people losing at small stakes or mid stakes online is they're just too tight. They just are so scared of busting the tournament. A lot of times playing the live series, obviously it depends on your table, but if it folds to me on the button, a lot of times just before I look at the cards, I'm opening 100% of hands. If there's good players in the blinds, I'll open 70% or whatever. But a lot of times, if there's 2 older guys who haven't played a hand in an hour, it's just like open everything, open. Another thing is adjusting your opening ranges drastically. And I never used to do this. Is you're multi-tabling, just like, oh, I'm supposed to open Queen Jack from the hijack, open. Well, it's just like, who's in the blinds? Are they good players? Are they tight players? So sometimes on the button, we should be opening 30%, sometimes 100%. That's a big adjustment. In-game awareness is huge. 3-betting ranges, flatting ranges change drastically who's in the blinds behind. If they're weak players in the blinds, we're allowed to flat our suited broadways, and other hands, we're allowed to flat wider. If you have fade or Holtz in the big blind, then the value of 3-betting goes up because you push him out of the pot. A lot of stuff like this, in-game awareness, and a lot of regs are just too static, I think.
Yeah, I think a big difference at cash games between small and mid stakes and then high stakes is aggression, for sure. Is that if you're super aggressive and you know how to play a very aggressive style, you can get away with a lot of things, and you can just take away a lot of pots from weaker players and weaker regulars. These are probably been winning regulars. This is something that with me and my progression, and still I find this very applicable today, is that they just cannot deal with the aggression, and they're just not used to fighting for every little small pot. Whereas once you start playing against better players, you move up the stakes, then they start punishing you, man. All those aggressive plays you did, you got to sort of dial it back a little bit, and that's actually something I've struggled with oftentimes. Is when I play against better players, I still keep that high level of aggression up there, and it works out well sometimes, but also it induces a lot of variance in my game and in my life. But yeah, I think that people probably aren't that aggressive, and I understand why, because you mentioned the 2x pot. Well, let's just say you 2x pot twice and you get called both times. It's going to make you not want to 2x in the future. And especially live, when your ability to put these sort of ideas into motion and put these aggressive ideas, this aggressive strategy into motion, it's very hard to understand if you pick the right spots or if you pick the wrong spots. And whereas that's what's really good about playing online, is that you see so many spots repetitively, that if you do make a mistake in one spot, you have another chance to get in that same spot again in 2 minutes, whereas you might not get in that spot again for 8 or 9 hours. So that makes it a lot tougher to apply those things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's way easier to review online. Like anytime I'm playing a session and I think I mess up a spot or I'm unsure, like if I save it, like to review it. And another thing is live, I touched on this earlier, but people are really behind on push fold spots. Like if Joey folds you on the button, you have 8 big blinds, you're playing no limit hold'em. You're supposed to shove a lot of hands. King 10 off, printing, shove. Ace deuce off, printing, shove. Small pair, printing, shove. Any like Queen 7 suited, printing, shove. And live players just don't like that. You see some insane stuff. Like the one hand I saw one time is someone shoved 7 big blinds from the cutoff. And it folded to the big blind, and this older gentleman like folded ace jack face up. He's like, I think you got ace king or something. It's just like, it's just like, what? You're not going to win a tournament like that. In these big fields, like if you're just not taking your spots, you're just not going to win. I would way rather stake a punty, spewy player than someone. If you're just too tight, you're just not going to win a tournament. I'd rather, obviously, that's a general statement, but I think some of the greats, the legends of tournament poker, are very spewy and very crazy, and they just take insane spots. Obviously they're extremely skilled, but
I think the next level of that is sort of then when you start playing against, okay, so we kind of go back to like, we pick a default spot. Let's say we're 12 big blinds and then we were supposed to probably shove this wide a range. But I think kind of the part about tournament poker that interests me is how a Fedor Holes or how some of these top players might alter their ranges. Let's say maybe they'll min raise a spot where most players are going to shove, and sort of figuring out why they
Yeah.
that, because then the idea of preserving their tournament life kind of becomes more important to them rather than just shoving all in. I found that interesting and fascinating talking with Fedor in the past. He talked about, okay, he likes to play spots that most people would say are typical or standard. He tries to think about them in an atypical way and then approach it like that.
Yeah.
That's the fascinating thing I find about tournaments right now is just, okay, well, this is default. Well, when can you maybe not do that default for it to be good for your strategy overall?
For sure, they're really good at those situations. Like Ben put out like an hour and a half video the other day talking about the difference in our shoving range between 12 big blinds and 16. He put like a 2-hour video out on this, and like a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're short," and he really hammered home that like, "Oh, the offsuit aces do better min raising than like." There's so much information in poker, and if I want to get to the higher stakes, like I said, if I go play these 2K W cubes right now, Joey, like I'm gonna get worked pretty badly by the sickos for sure. But I think I can get there, if I really put in that time.
Who we got in the chat right now, man? We got Rob Sainer in the chat. He said, "Yo, what's up? What's up, poker?" Sasha, my girl Sasha says, "Fortunately, you can only 1x pot, Joey." That's very true. I do not have to worry about 2x potting. And wait, did Joey just say tournament poker and interest me together? I did. I mean, I've been thinking. I don't know. Listen, I talk to all the tournament players. I get excited. Like Kevin seems getting excited about that. It's hard not to get that excitement and that enthusiasm sort of come off into me and at least have me interested in the game. And also in the poker world right now, I mean, at least everything's pretty geared towards tournaments. The only really no news happening. There's no Doug's not doing anything. So the gossip's all gone. Doug was creating all the gossip out there. So there's not really going on. It's pretty boring. So if you're going to watch poker and be a poker fan, you kind of have to watch tournaments, whether it's a stream, whether it's, we have some cash game guys and some cash game streams, but I mean, I don't know. It seems like no one's talking about it. We got poker.
People like tournaments more, man. It's crazy. People like tournaments more. Biggest streamers on Twitch. There's been some good. Your boy, AJ Phoenix.
He's like he lives in the AJ Phoenix world in Africa right now, I think. So he streams, but he's doing a lot of other things, man. The man's a guru. He's a guru.
He's a prime example of like when he streamed on Twitch, he was funny, played high stakes, played excellent cash game poker, and I think people would just rather watch the Big 33 than 1-2 no limit online. People just gravitate towards tournaments. It's more of a story. There's the beginning, there's the middle, there's the end. Oh, did you punt? Cash games is like if you stack someone for 100 bigs, it's amazing, but there's no climax. You need that climax, Joey, on the stream for people to get excited about. That's why tournaments are just more popular.
Bankroll challenge popular compared to tournaments. As a bankroll challenge, there's some sort of story in that to a certain point. But I agree. I haven't really ever tried streaming cash games. I don't think I'm ever going to. I've never really paid attention to anyone that streams cash games, and I don't know if anyone really has. But yeah, I mean, I think it also does matter the personality and the habits of people that watch streams now are pretty geared towards tournaments. So I think that it's going to be very hard for a regular cash game person with a good personality to then overtake the people that are already established in streaming poker, like yourself and like Alex Feldhaus and
for sure
Talbot and like Talbot, Tonka, and like those guys out there. So yeah, I don't know what's the streaming. What you've been paying attention in the streaming world? What's kind of?
I have, yeah. So like I said, I'm on a little bit of hiatus, just relaxing, getting away from the camera. I'm sure I'll fire it up back soon, but. Dude, poker content's at a premium right now. Like, there's so many options now. You got Lex firing the highest stakes W cubes, Tonka. Jason is back. Jason's streaming every day during this W cube. Like, there's some good stuff out, right? Jason started his Run It Up company, so he's helping out a lot of streamers getting going. There's Platinum Pass gives away everywhere. Stuff's happening, man. If you want to watch poker, there's a lot of options. A lot of options. I think it's peaking right now in terms of poker content.
Yeah, I think there is more poker content out there, but I think as a poker fan, it's really hard to pay attention to all that poker content. So what happens is people pay attention to one or two people out there, and that's sort of what they're exposed to in the poker world. And as somebody like myself who likes to keep up with what's happening and how people are doing, it's very hard because all you have out there are 6-hour streams, whether it's a streamer or whether it's cash games. And there's really no aggregation of that content out there as well. And there's no real being done or anything like that. So I've found it's very hard to keep up with what's going on just because there's so much out there and it's all in long form. And whereas I guess before there was a lot of produced content that would break things down and a 6-hour stream would turn into a 45-minute show.
Yeah.
So I there's a little bit more of that out there. But I do think there is a lot of great stream specific content out there. I mean, there's pick your poison. What do you like? Who do you want to watch?
You got Matty Staples crushing the game. Jamie's streaming some W Coop. There's definitely a lot of options out there. Some of the other guys too. I mean, they might not get mentioned as much, but like Bolero. When I started streaming, Bolero and I were the same thing. He was playing $2 sit and goes. I remember watching Bolero, and he got mad because he took a beat in like a $2 sit and go, and now he's gonna have he's over 100K profit on the year. Like his growth is incredible. And All in Pav is another guy who started playing the small stakes when I started, and he's having another 6-figure year. Like the poker dream is there if you work and put some time into it. So there's some young lads that are crushing out there that deserve those views for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned Bulero, all former Grind Nation members. When Doug Grind Nation, and Doug said, "Do you want to start a stream team?" And I was like, "What the fuck is?" I was like, "What is it?" I was like, "I guess." Like, I don't know. Like, I was like, "Sure," but I didn't know what a team was until I started watching Fortnite, and now I see there's like TSM, there's Lick. And now I'm like, oh, teams are cool, but now there's no teams really in poker. I mean, there's Team Poker Stars.
Team Poker Stars, and there's Team Run It Up now too. So there's kind of things for sure. But
talk about this. So there's Team Run It Up, right?
Yes.
You mean Team Poker Stars? It's all poker. It's the same people on Team Run It Up that's on Team Poker Stars.
There's a couple, like, basically if you graphed it, massive overlap. Yeah, there's a couple people that deviate from it, but
right. Welcome Matt Staples to Poker. I'm like, oh. Okay. Welcome Kevin. Welcome Arlie. I'm like, I've seen these before someplace. Where have I seen these guys before? Yeah. So
it's very close to the big team. I mean, what Jason's done, he started basically a Twitch streaming company, and I don't want to speak on his behalf, but he's really optimized some streams and helped some people out for sure.
I mean, Jason Somerville's a poker content legend as far as I'm concerned, and I think the knowledge and the information and the help he can bring to people out there is a lot. And I think we've seen that in terms of what you just said, just helping people be more GTO at their setup and how they execute and how they do that. And I mean, it's pretty great to see. So it's I don't know, man. It is kind of fun out there. I think to follow along. I like following along people's stories and kind of seeing how they're doing. It just kind of a story to develop with someone like yourself or like a Bulero or like a Pav. So a lot of that fun for me is sort of seeing the bigger picture on the success that these people have out there. And I guess talking about you and yourself and goals, how do you plan to structure the future for live poker play? Do you plan to travel to more places, or do you plan to play there?
I mean, it's time. Like, with all the work, I should definitely play some higher stuff now. Like, I've played 2 10Ks in my life and bricked them both. I cashed a 5K once, but I've never taken these big. So, I mean, the WSCP main event is a must play every year for me now. I think the 25K, the Platinum Pass, I think I'll get in there and just sell some action at probably no markup.
You think you have 100%. It's like,
I know I'll definitely be there. I just it's 4 months away. You never know what happens, but I'll be there. Yes, I'll be there. I hate speaking in absolutes. Like,
in the 25, there's people that are they knit for a living, Kevin. They're actual knitters. A woman that she knits things is playing that. You 100%. You're in. I might play it. Play it. You have to play.
So we're coming to the PCA. You're coming to because I believe there's the PCA main event and the Platinum Pass. Like, it's going to be a massive week of buy-in. So yes, we're there for sure.
Cool.
Barring any disaster. Another goal that I've kind of had on the back burner is no one from Alberta in Canada has won a bracelet. It'd be nice to have a bracelet. Phil's got 37 now. I think Kevin could win one maybe, especially with me dabbling in some mixed games and stuff. So that might be a side goal for sure, to learn some mixed games and play the WSOP more. And just keep upping that average buy-in. Our online results this year are not amazing. I haven't played as much as it's like 8% ROI or something, but I have jumped into a lot of bigger games online, and you really see the difference too between the big 27 and the big 215. Once you get into that 3-digit buy-in mark, the 1Ks and stuff, like I've never played the 1K Super Tuesday. I think it would just be very, very difficult. But to get more comfortable in those bigger fields, whether that, do I need to spend more time with PIO solver? Do I need to, what is the next step to get past just the fundamentals to crush the high stakes? Because people are good out there, Joey. People put time into their poker game.
mean, I think it's about kind of just start playing them, and I mean, it seems like a lot of people when they play those higher stakes tournaments, they're with a backing stable or they sell action, everything like that. And what's been your approach to the idea of selling action to play? Because I'm sure you could play anything you wanted to play online for the most part, and you'd be able to sell action to people.
Yeah, especially like there's a bunch of, if I text Bill Perkins, he'll snap by everything. I've been lucky with that. But also I've never really. I think that's something I need to do is I haven't had fun in tournaments where I know I'm getting, I need to be more comfortable with playing better players. It's been way easier for me to play the 55 bounty builder, know I have an edge, than play like the 1K Super Tuesday. And I've also had, along with that, I've had a slight obsession with linear graphs. It's so beautiful to load up someone's shark scope and just see it just so linear and so beautiful. You're like, oh my God, it's a piece of art. But I need to get out of that mind state. If I fire off 5K in binds and lose and there's a dip in the graph, that's okay. Like, I got other income, I'm not, people see those nonlinear graphs and they say, oh, you're playing too high stakes or whatever. No, it's like I have disposable money. If I want to play a 10K online and I know I'm losing, go at it. There's such a stigma around losing players in poker. Oh, they're dumb. Oh, they're not smart enough. Listen, no, they just, maybe they're a doctor in real life. Maybe they're making 6 figures a year and they just treat poker with a disposable income. So I would like to see Twitch, more YouTube, but Twitch and YouTube. In the poker communities, there's a lot of stigma around losing players and how they're not as intelligent or something. It'd be nice to ditch that, get rid of that, because we need to keep growing this game.
Yeah, I don't see that going away. Unfortunately, it seems that the chat I read is only getting more and more toxic as the days go on, and I don't see this going away. And especially in poker, when people do associate the losing player with an idiot or a donk or a bitch or whatever. And yeah, I don't really see us reversing that, and I don't even know how to start. How can you start doing that, really?
It's tough, man, because people, while results are very cool, and I've always been a number guy, people look at that, the first thing, like for example, Guy Liberté, when he would play online, he'd lose millions. I'm like, listen, the guy has $1 million bet worth. He's a better life than anyone in the chat ever. Like, he's crushing the game just because he donks off at high stakes. That's cool. That's like admirable, or Rick Solomon playing the highest stakes. Like, these people have awesome, cool lives. Okay, they're losing at poker. They enjoy it. They have disposable income. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I certainly looked at people back from a pure poker standpoint when I was playing and kind of coming up. I looked at the bad players as donks, as whatever, and they suck at poker. I never thought they sucked at life or anything like that. So I imagine, I guess people do think that, but I don't know. I feel like once you get to know more about Perkins, I think people used to call Perkins a massive David. Oh, this guy's the biggest donk. He's the biggest. You got to hear him talk, and they're like, oh, no. Let's take all that back we said about Bill. Okay, whether he's
legend,
he is certainly not a donk. He's one of the wisest I've ever heard talk in my entire life. So, yeah, I think once you start to hear more about who these people are, these bad players or whatever, I think you start to realize, well, these guys could be good if they wanted to be good. They just have their focus on other things and choose to play poker for fun. And I don't know if it's as I guess like the exposure to these fun players. It seems like it's decreasing for the most part because a lot of the content is so person streamer specific and a lot of these people are okay at least, or they're good, or they're getting better, or whatever. So I think a lot of the people are watching are actually pretty good players. So when they do see someone bad, they're just like, oh my God, I don't see a bad person that often. This guy's a donk, and that's how they treat them. So it's kind of a fascinating thing.
It'd be nice to reverse that stigma, but that's pretty well said. Yeah, dude, that 25K is going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts. Everyone's like, even a bunch of the regs here in Calgary are going to go. I mean, all the sickos are going to be there. PokerStars is giving away 400 platinum passes or something. So you're right. I was like 95%, but I think you pushed it up there for me, Joey. I'm like 99 to play now.
And just go read the people that are with that won the trip. Like, I've been reading their bios. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. Like,
this person knits for a living.
This person, I swear to God, she's a knitter. She knits scarves. Not the person that had the incident happened, but no, like an actual scarf knitter.
Yeah, the 25K is I'll sell a bunch of my action at 1.0, and then it's like a tournament that could literally change your life. It's going to be up there with the WSOP main event for sure. Oh my God, Joey, I was watching. This is one of the times I actually watched the main event live stream and watched all the coverage. Shout out to the commentators, Ali and Nick Schulman. They're incredible. But dude, the stuff you see at the main event, man, I've played it once and I exited early on day 2, but final 50 players out, some of the plays are like, wow, like it's some people are just street poker, like some of the cold 4 bets there was a cold 4 bet with 10-7 off. I mean, there's obviously a lot of good players. Like that Sin guy played incredibly the entire time. And, but if someone's beating $15 tournaments online, I would snap stake them in the main event over and over and over again, because they're just going to do well in the field.
You sound like you're getting that online poker player swag right there. That's something an online poker player says when they watch live. They're like, what's happening here?
Oh, man. If someone can show me an average buy-in of $10 and winning, I'd put them in almost any live tournament that's ever existed. Yeah. I mean, it's true, though. The online, they're just ahead. The online players are just, they got these softwares, Joey.
This has been the argument for years. I mean, this is back 2006 when Durr started playing. Online poker players are better than live poker players. Yeah, this has kind of been the thing. Obviously, like the setting different. I think Pads tweeted out something about how the guys in the big 11 or the big 50, I don't even know what he's, the big 20 something or big something that he stakes, they would be plus EV in a 300K. But I think you have to kind of factor in the change of setting when you're going from tabling online to playing one table live. Maybe some of the good players who are playing the $10 tournaments who are winning at them, maybe you get those guys in a live setting and they don't know how to adjust. They don't know how to play one table. They don't know how to play 25 hands an hour. So I think what you saw was when a lot of those online guys transitioned to live poker after Black Friday happened, that a lot of them just couldn't adjust. They couldn't dumb down their game, or they couldn't, whatever exactly it is, the discipline needed to play live poker, they couldn't handle. Yeah. And guys ended up quitting poker because they couldn't do it. So there is a lot of things just for when you go to play live poker.
That was after my time. What was Black Friday like? People woke up and it must have been chaos. People are like, what is going on?
Yeah, it was definitely chaos for me.
Yeah.
I woke up, all my money was online. I couldn't access it. I had like $500 in my bank account. I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent the next month living in San Diego. I went on 2+2. I put a thread that said, hey, I'm looking for staking for a cash game. And luckily, I got Shane from I'mAWhale.com, one of my only sponsors on the podcast, got in touch with me, and that's why he's one of the only sponsors on the podcast, is because he helped me out back in 2011. So it was the best thing that ever happened to me personally, because I got to move out of the country, got to go live in Canada, started to realize that I am not out for live poker. One, I can't do it because not going to be the game for me.
What I always see you tweet these stacks at PLO. You're at Aria. You got this big stack.
Street. I just go walk there, or Sasha wants to play. We go play. It's I've always been good at running up stacks online and live, but it's more enjoyable now. But it's not something I would do as my main income. I couldn't see myself putting it'd be I don't know. I'm sure I could do it, but it would just be such a stressful thing to have to go worry about paying your rent and then worry about making money, and it just seems like it's. Yeah, that part.
Well, I played live 1-2 for 14 months straight as my only source of income. When I was before I got into Twitch, I made $27 an hour live 1-2. It was amazing, dude. I'm like, I just went from planting trees, 13 cents a tree, just grinding, and then I got into poker, and I was in Calgary here. The games were really good, and I was 21 years old, making $27 an hour. There's some variance, but I think in the 14 months. I won 13 months, and then one of the months I lost. I was just in the red. So the games were really good, and then one of the best times of my life, dude. I probably had $10,000 to my name, living by myself, just playing poker 60 hours a week. It's great, dude. I couldn't go back to it now. I couldn't do it. I have other goals and aspirations, but those will always be some of the best days of my life for sure. Loved it.
Financial goals that you have set for yourself right now? Do you aspire to have a certain amount of money in the bank, or
I used to have the $1 million mind in my mark, and now it's just like, as long as you're financially set and comfortable, it's like the difference between I'm not a fancy guy. I don't buy myself watches. I won a car on Big Brother. I would never buy myself a brand new car. I don't get excited about materialistic items. As long as I am comfortable, I can travel anywhere I want. Anytime someone says you want to go skydiving in Hawaii next week, I can financially afford it. That's good for me. I don't need to hit that next level. I don't need to collect art or watches or stuff. So I feel like after you hit that level, for me to go for a big number, I'm looking at other things. I want to be healthy. I want to have good social relationships. I think there's other things that make me happy. You ever see that survey Joey, that study where they collected a bunch of people and they viewed happiness based on financial income? Fascinating. Really well done study.
Yeah.
And basically, in North America, they found that people between $0 annual income and like 120,000, the more you made, drastic effect on your happiness. Like the more people made in that margin, it's like the happier people were. So someone making $30,000 a year, someone making $90,000 a year, the person making 90,000 was way happier on average. But once you hit a certain level, it just flattened out. It just like it was directly up and then it flattened out. And they found that a person making $2 million a year was the same as a person making $10 million a year. There wasn't really, at that point, the measures of happiness were health, social relationships, other things. At a certain point, money is just, a tool for financial freedom. So, I don't have a number. It would be pretty sexy to see 7 figures one day. Just feel like, oh, I'm a millionaire, but long ways before that.
Yeah, it certainly makes sense why the happiness wouldn't continue to rise, because to end up making more money, you need to have such an obsession on what you're doing to make money off it that a lot of times you're neglecting conversation and you're neglecting quality time with a partner. When you're with a partner or friends, your mindset is on work. How can I make money? How can I be doing this or doing that? And you're not actually engaged and mindful in the interactions that you're having. So I think that is what ultimately leads to happiness for a lot of people, is the conversations and the relationships and those sorts of things that you have. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense to have that impacted if you're neglecting those things that are important.
Yeah, well said. My girlfriend's really good at that. Like if my girlfriend really doesn't care about money, and she's not even like, these high maintenance ladies out there, they need the jewels, they need the earrings. She's the opposite of that. Like I'll buy her a gift once in a while. She's like, honey, I don't need this. And she's really into relationships and health and stuff. So she's a good balance. As much as I have the drive to go, win, or achieve my goals, she's definitely balances me out, man.
Do you feel like that's impacted you and sort of helped you get to this mindset where maybe those old desires in terms of money or in terms of status or fame have now maybe taken a hit because you've been impacted by her attitude?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. She's definitely worn off on me, which is like a good thing. I think my overall happiness is peaking right now, and I think that's one of the reasons is I've taken more time to phone my family and invest in how they're doing it, catch up with old friends. It's good, man. We're in a good place right now, Joey. We're thriving. If you told me all this stuff happened by the time I was 25, to get sponsored by PokerStars, to win Big Brother, to have the summer that I have, and all these other things, just like truly, I think I'm in the Truman Show sometimes. It's good, but there's more out there. There's more levels that I can achieve. Joey, next time I come on the podcast, I'm going to give you ultimate strategy for PLO live tournaments. I'm going to say we got to raise this hand on the button. We got to 3-bet these double suited rundowns. I've been watching some of those Jay Nanda's videos. He's an incredible PLO player, and it's still a different world for me. Can you tell I have the PLO bug right now?
Oh, I can tell. I mean, listen, you watch, whatever happened between Jay Nanda's and Upstream Poker, I think you can't argue Jay Nanda's makes excellent Pot Limit Omaha content. Even though Jay Nanda's, I know you watch everything that I do out there, and I'm going to say a lot of your strategy lately has been very, very obvious to drive traffic to your website and your product. That makes sense, and I think it's going to value the content, but that makes sense too. But I still think it's pretty good out there. But yeah, I think if you watch some of that stuff, it's very hard not to get excited because you do get the I think he teaches things in a very good way that you say, oh, damn, okay, I feel like I learned something and now I want to go put it to action and I want to go try this shit out.
Yeah. Like when you flop, you just miss so many flops and hold them. It's just like, oh, you brick. Flopping a flush draw is a huge deal. When you flop a flush draw and hold them, it's like you just have the stone nuts. It feels like you're like, oh my God, I have a flush draw. And then in PLO, it's just like you just hit the board. There's so much connection, like 4 cards and 3 cards. They're always connecting in these amazing ways, dude.
They are, Kev. They are. What other questions do you have about Pot Limit Omaha? It sounds like you're excited. Do you have a number one question about PLO right now that you're thinking about or wondering?
I mean, I assume PLO tournaments are very profitable. Like, are people smashing ROI online? Are they really beating these things up? They have to be, I would assume.
From what I know, there aren't very many PLO tournaments out there, so I don't know what the sample size is for someone playing that game.
Yeah. I got the mixed games, but NL08. You ever play that split pot Omaha? Oh my God.
No.
NL08?
Surprisingly, I have not played No Limit Hold'em. No Limit Omaha 8 or better. I've not played that
Dude,
game.
it's one of the most popular tournaments in Stars. So you win the high pot and low pot, like it's like split pot Omaha. It's so fun, dude.
And how much can you bet?
I mean, there's like $11 tournaments, $55 tournaments. You can
Okay.
go no limit, dude. You can go all in pre-flop. 200 big blinds. You can just open shove in this game.
That part's crazy right there. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it creates some interesting situations because the equities run very, very close. So at like final tables with all this ICM, you can literally shove almost any four into some people and they just can't call. My friend Ryan has been teaching me some NL08 and he does really well online in the small mid stakes tournaments. He's doing very, very well. So I got the bug, man. And this other, it's so exciting. As I learn these mixed games, I can just pick a really good no limit schedule and like I can just take out the not fun stuff. Cause there's a couple tournaments that don't really, get me super pumped. I can just fill them in with fun mixed games and it's good.
So I guess, you mentioned the influence from your girlfriend and in terms of, kind of balancing you out with your own desires and aspirations. And when you think about coming back to streaming, going back to something you mentioned earlier, which is that you have these people that are very popular at the top of the streaming directory right now. And when you think about your own self getting back integrated into that, are you fine with not being that person up there? Do you have aspirations to want to be that top streamer in there, or how do you sort of stand on that?
Like I said before, I'd rather have a solid, cool, active community than if my goals with streaming. I don't think I mean, it'd be cool to be up there for sure. I mean, there's not that many streams that are bigger than mine. There's a small handful. And they're incredible. They do really, really well. High stakes, funny. With my community, I'm more about just like good times, make sure they're happy, make sure they get the content. And as we grow and pick up new people, that's cool too. But no, I don't think my Twitch goals are like be the biggest streamer that's ever been. Nah. I mean, maybe with that GPI award behind you, I'm getting the GPI award feeling. Like maybe I want to throw my hat in the ring there. Joey, you are a GPI Poker Award winner. Not many people can say that, dude.
Why you stop trolling me?
I mean, it's so beautiful.
Stop trolling.
There's the Oscars, there's the Golden Globes, and right behind those is the GPI Poker Awards.
Listen, so no one quite understands the gravity of the GPI Awards except maybe 5 people. So when you tell people you're a poker award winner, to them that's fucking Oscars.
Dude, I saw you tear up while you're accepting the award. Don't hide it. It's a big moment.
Wait, I accepted the award for someone else.
Didn't Daniel beat you the year before for the podcast award? And then
I beat him. Dear God, don't say that. Thanks. No, Daniel did not beat me. Daniel beat me for the most out of line poker player in the community. He does not beat me for podcast of the year that year. Yeah. So,
I mean, credit to D-Negs, very controversial person. Whenever I say hi to D-Negs at events, he says, when someone's like, "Oh, hello, how you doing?" but they never say your name. I feel like I'm at that relationship with him. I'm like, "Hey, D-Negs, what's up?" He's like, "Oh, hi, you. Like, how are you doing?" I'm pretty sure I mean, I'm bad with names too, so I don't mind. But I credit to D-Negs, man. He was the small ball master for a long time. He put out all those videos about how just calling ace king pre is good. But I mean, he realized he's not beating the high rollers anymore. He got back in the lab. You can always appreciate that for sure. His game is really sharp. He check raises way more, and yeah, that's again a big difference between live players and online is like when, let's say, a normal poker situation is button opens, big blind defends. On a lot of board textures, it's going to go check, bet, and the big blind should check raise like a third of their hands. Like they're supposed to check raise a shit ton. Live players never do it enough. And so the exploit is that when they check raise, you can just overfold. Sometimes you can make some ridiculous folds. But yeah, credit to D-Nix. He's in the street, check raising, 3-betting more. His game is really sharp now.
That was a nugget of strategy right there, my friends. That was a nugget of strategy. You can overfold when tight players check raise you because they aren't check raising you enough.
Just overfold, man. You can hero fold versus 4-bets. I had one spot where open, I 3-bet some guy like min 4-bets, just like hero folded queens, which I would never do online ever. But sure enough, his range is just like, it doesn't have those bluffs in there. It's a beautiful game, Joey. I'm pumped up. I've been doing some other things. I just went to the other side of Canada to visit some friends, but I got the poker butt
out too. It seemed like I feel like the last time I saw you with your arms were looking pretty swolled up there.
Man, Peely's in the gym 2 hours a day, and I'm just fat. I'm just chubby. Oh man, Working out's so hard. It's not fun. Go to the gym and you lift this weight from here to here. Like there's not much stimulation, but no,
I can tell you what's fun about it. Okay, I as someone who loves working out and who's been really focused on it lately, for me the fun part is the challenge of keeping your form intact, keeping your breathing intact, that sort of challenge of discipline, and also sort of realizing the rainbow at the end of the tunnel that comes from being consistently working out in the gym.
no.
Realizes that you don't need to go down there and be like the fucking CrossFit athlete doing handstands on the wall or anything crazy shit like that. You can go down there, simple bicep curls.
Yeah.
You can do dumbbell chest press. You can do very simple workouts just consistently with it, with some sort of set pattern, and you're going to see some results. And
Yeah.
what I like to do in the gym is I listen to a podcast. That's my podcast time, and then I really am just focused in on my form, trying to keep my posture well, trying to keep my breathing well, and that's how I sort of get myself excited out there because it's a challenge for me. And I also had the results in the past. So my graph, it's went up and then, kind of down for a year. And now, it's going back up. So it's good.
I mean, you got what, like a couple hundred Tinder matches too. You gotta stay sharp too. You're a single man, being hunted all the time. Must be exhausting having all these ladies want your attention, man. I'm locked down. I got a girlfriend. I'm basically married. It feels like so.
I think I'll be married by the end of the year too.
Whoa, that is a shock.
I think maybe I might be. It feels like 50%. I could be married for sure.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Propose on the podcast.
What'd you say?
Propose on the podcast.
I mean, I might. That would be pretty epic.
People would love that. That'd be epic.
No, that would be pretty epic out there. Let's get some questions from the chat out there, guys. I know people have a lot of questions out there, but no, I think there's a good chance I might get married by the end of the year.
Nice, dude. That's crazy. This is a new leaf for you.
It is. We'll see.
That's I can't picture it right now, but I'm happy for you. That's awesome. That's faster than I'm thinking. I'm between 2019 and 2021. There will be a ring in there somewhere. I'm pretty sure.
Tree Unit says, "Do not propose on the podcast." Listen. I'm going to propose on the podcast if I do.
I swore to Peely that I would not propose. A, in the Big Brother house, B, on Twitch. I was just like, I made these guarantees that it would not be, one of these things.
Listen, Sasha says I won't propose on the pod. If someone wants to make a prop bet against me proposing, but yeah, you should probably propose on yours too.
No, there'll be some mountain with doves in the background, a giant rainbow, an angelic chorus or something. It won't be on Twitch Poker. I love Twitch Poker, but the engagement will not be on there.
Connor McReiner says, when are you back streaming, Big Kev?
Oh, Connor, man. I mean, I got the bug right now. WCoop is pretty crazy. I might throw up a stream later tonight. It'll be soon, dude. It'll be soon, man. I know. Shout out to my community who, I haven't streamed in 20 days. They've been very, very cool with the time off. And, I'll go hard for periods of time and then I'll take a couple weeks and do other things. And they're very cool with that. I had a ton of people. Someone's been subbed on my channel for 39 months now, just over 3 years or something crazy. It's support, buddy. That's commitment.
Sheesh. So when are you going to upload to YouTube? Are you going to upload to YouTube again?
That's an interesting thing, dude. So I was losing money on YouTube. Like I was paying an editor full time and the videos did pretty well. But in terms of like making revenue back, I really should. I've always loved Twitch more than YouTube. YouTube's never been my big thing. If I can get an editor, if I can get someone else to basically micromanage it, it'll be back soon. Because I mean, that's how I don't get a chance to watch a lot of streams, but I always watch Tonka's highlight videos. I watch Charlie Carroll's highlight videos. Like I consume a lot of my poker through YouTube, so I understand. People are busy. It's nice to have that highlight video for sure.
BinDog55. Joey, are you ever going to give Andrew his awards? Andrew, I already got his awards. I never had Andrew's awards. I just gave speeches for his awards. I never actually had his awards, though. No. Let me see here. Ball Balky, congrats, Poppy. So happy for. Okay. Tree Unit, Kevin, I suggest you dive headfirst into Pot Limit Omaha and become an ambassador for the game.
I mean, if there's tournaments, I will play some Pot Limit Omaha tournaments for sure, dude. It's just like I said, it's fun. When I first started learning Hold'em, and oh my god, I can c-bet and make money without having a hand. Oh, I can 3-bet pre with the blood. Like these concepts, as you learn them, are so amazing. And so I'm excited to take that journey with other games like PLO. And I played Raz the other day. I watched a Raz training video. That wasn't a lot of fun. That was, we'll see which ones we get into.
This guy Chinchilla says, Kevin, how is the church coming along? Is it
Oh, Ace King, buddy, dude, it's truly unbelievable. People, you know the Church of Ace King. You know this reference, right? I've started a mission, Joey.
I believe I've seen you say this before, but I didn't understand it then, and I don't understand it now. So
out of all the hands in No Limit Hold'em, none gets shit on more than Ace King. People hate Ace King with a passion. Live games, they always talk, oh, it's drawing hand. Oh, it's ace high. It's bullshit. It's such a premium. It's so amazing. So I've started the revolution of the church. I mean, we just believe in the Ace King. There's no hierarchy. You know, the discipleship is a little bit out there, but so yeah, I believe, man. I'm still going strong.
I don't know. My cousin Timmy actually really hates Ace King. He says it's a
everyone hates it.
What?
Everyone hates it, dude. I'm here to spread the good news. It's a premium, man. You have top non-suited.
I think the exploit
non-paired
in a premium hand is to play it more passive. I think that's a better strategy. I think that's the exploit. People that overvalue Ace King, you just wait for them to overvalue it when you have a strong hand, and then you stack them.
I don't think people overvalue Ace King. They undervalue it. It's the most undervalued hand in poker. Especially in tournaments, man. When you're less than 50 big blinds, like Jesus, like it's huge.
Yeah, I made a video about with my cousin Timmy yesterday, and people fucking hated it. So that's great. I'm very happy. They didn't like Timmy's voice, Kevin, because Timmy's a representation of the YouTube comment section on YouTube and on Twitter.
Oh, I've heard the Timmy voice. Oh yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and this was long form Timmy. So you can imagine, what's up, guys? Timmy, you can imagine like Timmy. Listen, I don't know what happens. He gets the glasses on. He takes this and he takes the hat off. All his hair is sticking. Like he gets excited. I don't know. Ace King. I mean, like the thing about Ace King, Kevin, is he doesn't lose a lot of money. I get all in. The guy's got X, and then we flip, and I fucking lose this guy. What are you talking about? You donk as a donk hand. Donk moved all the way. See, like I don't know. He gets excited.
Amazing, dude.
Comes from, man. But I've been reading these comment sections for so long that that's what they sound like to me, because I read comments for 5 fucking years, and now finally I have a way to channel those comments into actual voice. And I'm happy about it, but now I understand what my life's been like.
When you receive negativity like that, it's like a credit to you, man. Your platform's big enough, you're reaching enough people that there's going to be a few demos in there, Like,
I'm telling you.
Like Lex is streaming for 7,000 people. When he makes a poker play, there's going to be a couple people in there that say that's bad. Like when you have 7,000 people collectively together, there's going to be some silly billies in there that are going to voice their opinion. You just have to take it, man. It's a credit to your platform that it's big enough.
I guess so. I don't know what the future holds for
that's one thing. I mean, once you put in a lot of work and you're showing that you're winning, and it's easier on Twitch. But for new players coming up that don't have that confidence, and they just have to get barraged from that chat about every play they make, it's tough, man. And some of it's like, oh my god, guys, I got in jacks with 25 big blinds. He had kings. Okay, we're gonna go broke there. You should have folded pre-flop or something. You just have to laugh at some of the comments and realize the game's still alive.
Yeah, I imagine it's pretty tough to. I mean, is it tough to build up something right now on Twitch? Is it still possible for?
Definitely possible, dude. There's a bunch of combinations. Number 1, play as high stakes as possible. Number 2, win and play well. Number 3, be funny and engaging. Number 4, stream a lot. If you have these 4, you will have a big stream for sure. It's just the right recipe. I know there's a lot of other people out there. There's some skill with optimizing your schedule. Like if you were a new streamer coming out, if you're streaming when Jay Carver and Lex are on, it's going to be tough. If you can maybe take a night schedule and, you just have to, I mean, those are not easy. Play high stakes, play well, win, play often, it's tough, but there's definitely a massive, people say, oh, it's a saturated, it's like a saturated environment. Not at all, man. There's definitely a lot of room to grow.
Are you playing a lot of WCOOP events as well?
I haven't been. Like I said, I was in a little bit of chill mode, but I'm going to fire some more up here, buddy. And WCOOP's pretty cool. WCOOP's a tough time for streaming. To get numbers and stuff, everyone's online, but it's such a big series too. If you run bad during WCOOP, I can imagine it be very deflating. But I've played a small handful. I'll definitely play more. In my past, my strategy has kind of been to chill during the scoops and the WCOOPs, and then really go hard on Twitch right after, because that's when a lot of the big streamers take a break, and it's easy to run some big numbers and get some momentum going, because that's when a lot of the streamers are burnt out because they've played 3 weeks of WCOOP straight.
What about just playing WCoop in general off stream, just to work at your game or to kind of to see what happens?
Yeah, there's definitely they're definitely fun for sure. I think Pads was tweeting about this before. It's like he thinks for a lot of poker players, it's hard to get excited when these big series happen. You know, there's these massive guarantees every single day, and then there's obviously a ton of good tournaments. Like obviously, I'm sponsored by Stars. I only play on Stars. There's a lot of options for other people, but I mean, just a star schedule, you can fill it up, man. It's very rarely that I'm looking for, once in a while I'll throw a turbo in that's not the best value or something, that I'm not super excited about. But usually I'm able to keep 6 tables of medium to higher stakes going full time. So a lot of good value out there.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like you're on the mission to find the goals right now. Sounds like if you get back to studying 8 to 10 hours a week, that'll probably find you wanting to play some more and maybe just kind of having a goal of playing a little bit, playing a couple days a week until you get back on a full-time schedule. And in the meantime, focus on your relationship and whatever your goals are outside of poker. Maybe right now, while you have some time off, probably a good strategy of attack. And then once you get back on, you'll probably be going pretty hard.
For sure, buddy. Nice little balance. And reassessing goals is pretty important, just to relax a little bit. Been trying to meditate a little bit more, which is super good.
For me, meditation has turned into just mindful practice where I just try to remain present I sit outside of my balcony. I'm just like, okay, I'm still here because I've tried meditating in the past. That's been pretty tough, but more mindful stuff. It seems like it's
very tough. It's boring. It's boring. It's so boring. Just sitting there, not just like, it's very tough, but they said it's like working out your brain. It's like you work on that muscle. We're always stimulated by the phone. I go to the bathroom. I'm on Twitter for 45 seconds. I'm on Instagram and stuff. We're just always berated. It's nice to take that break and relax. It's tough though. I've definitely gone through stretches where I've dropped it, but I find it pretty good for sure.
Yeah, what I've been doing is I just turn my phone off throughout the day and I log out of Twitter. And there's some times where I post something and that gets a lot of engagement, so I end up checking it a lot. But over these next few weeks, I'm gonna be off Twitter almost. I mean, I'm gonna post like podcast stuff and I'm really not going to check much of the engagement or mentions because I feel like it's just done a lot for my focus being lost in a lot of situations because you're thinking about it and you're taking so much input and so much stimulation. And also one thing I've been learning about lately is that I think a lot of people replace human interaction with interaction on Twitter and Instagram, and they get so much of it that they don't seek it out in real life because they're bombarded with it in the internet. And I think for me, that's been a big thing. I've sort of I put it to the side because I just get so much stimulation from Twitter and from Instagram and from forums that my desire to hang out with people in real life isn't as strong as it was when I wasn't using Twitter and Instagram. So the goal of mine for these next few weeks is to, one, put out more content from the podcast, highlight content, just like you said, because I think you sort of said that was like to watch highlights, and I just think I should be doing that more with the podcast. So more highlights from that, and then also just staying the fuck off of Twitter, Instagram, except for posting. And I've noticed you've been doing that a lot.
They talk about like they've looked at human brains while they've gone on Instagram or Twitter, and when those likes are coming in and those interactions, it releases dopamine in your brain. It makes you feel good, and it's just like a short-term dopamine cycle. And we're the first generation guinea pigs on social media. Now, this is the first time and you go up to a lot of the Twitter CEOs and a lot of the Facebook CEOs, and they have flip phones and they don't use their own product. The people who design this aren't on it, and you have to ask yourself the question: well, is it healthy? If they literally know what's on it, there's a whole science behind it, man. When you go on Instagram, everything's designed to keep you there for as long as possible. That's how they make money, and these are incredibly intelligent people putting these sites together. So it's like, is it healthy? I don't know, man. I love it. I'm addicted to it, but I think it's healthy to take those breaks, like you said. I wanted to do a prop bet with my friend of like 3 months of no social media. Yeah, It'd be very tough. It'd be very, very tough.
Yeah, that would be very tough, especially if you have a brand or a business that makes money off of online. You kind of, without it when your income is directly tied to it in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I think social media is definitely have to use it in small doses, and some people it's very harmful towards, but it's tough to say, man.
Yeah, I think my plan is to really just kind of stick with it, really stay off there, and then kind of see what happens over this next week and go for. I mean, even a week. I haven't done a week off in, I don't know, I can't
Dude,
remember.
try one day off. It's impossible, dude. Try 10 minutes of sitting yourself on the couch. It's so hard. It's so easy to grab the phone and be stimulated, you know? That's why meditating is so hard. It's just so boring, but it's yeah, it's tough, dude.
Yeah,
Crazy world we live in, man. The technology is going so fast. I'm really into like the Joe Rogan podcast and technology and how it affects us. And shit's gonna, man. AI, dude. Artificial intelligence. The Elon Musk conversation. It scared me. It's crazy, you know.
so you listened to the Elon Musk podcast with Joe Rogan?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. I mean, it was a little slow in parts, but everyone is. It's fascinating. These incredible, intelligent people. Like we said, a lot of this stuff is we're truly the guinea pigs. You know, where life is going to be in 20 years. It's like throwing a dart at a dartboard. It's tough to say. You know, look, Joey, the internet was invented 25 years ago.
Right.
Like I was talking to my grandma. I'm like, Grandma, you've lived the majority of your life without the internet. And she looked at me and she's like, Kevin, I've lived the majority of life without a phone. We didn't get a landline phone till I was like 50 or something. I was like, Grandma, that's crazy. You know, it's insane, dude. How fast shit's going.
What was your favorite part of the Elon Musk podcast?
The artificial intelligence was really good. Him talking about transportation systems was really interesting. You know, the self-driving car. I'm so excited. I hate driving myself. I'm excited for the old Tesla self-driving car. You can just jump in your car and program it. It goes somewhere, you know?
It's actually, me and Sasha were talking about this the other day, and we were talking about like some about will self-driving cars take over. And I think that people just enjoy driving so much that it won't. Like, I don't, first off, you're poor in a foreign country. You're not going to have self-driving cars. And I think
dude, it's going to take over.
We passed our lifetime before everyone has a self-driving car in the United States.
I think relatively soon, whether it's 10 years or something, driving is going to be recreational and people only do it as a form of recreation. Because I think it's the same thing. People enjoy riding horses. Oh, the horse will never get replaced. People enjoy riding horses, tying it up. Nah, dude, as soon as you have the better option, you go to it. So imagine, Joe, you sit in your car, you punch in the button, you can fall asleep, you can read a book. You know, it's going to be here really soon. It's going to be interesting. Eventually, we're getting to the stage where AI and computers are just so good at stuff. It's like, what are humans going to do? You know, we have so many people. We have the cashier at the register making minimal wage. Like, we don't need that anymore. The robot is better. And, you know, we don't need the taxi driver anymore. The robot's better. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what humans do. Be nice, man. Just the average work week, 25 hours, automated everything. You know, you can work obviously if you enjoy it, but like the single mother out there putting in 45, 50-hour weeks to keep her child going. It's like computers can just do everything. We're almost at that stage, but I don't know. I'm really speaking on a subject I don't know too much about, but besides podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty fascinating subjects and fascinating topics to listen to, especially when a lot of the stuff out there is a lot of negativity and a lot of sort of gossip-related content. I think that this sort of stuff for me is personally more stimulating and something I enjoy hearing more about and talking more about. And, you know, yeah, I feel like you have all these different sections of the world, and it seems like not that many people are interested in this, but a lot more people are interested in the video blog, the Jake Paul kind of style video blog. Of content delivered in that setting, the memes and the highlights and those sorts of things like that. And they're not necessarily interested in this other kind of stuff. So I don't know. I feel like this is the way you learn and get better at it, is you talk about it with other people. You guys are both kind of noobs at it, and then you both sort of learn something, and then you get better from there. And kind of, even though it's like poker, right? Like, we didn't start off good at poker, but we still talk poker with friends. We're like, what do you think? Well, fuck, I'm just going to call that hand. I don't want to get stacked with ace king.
Yeah, it's important to find those smart poker friends. I've been lucky in that way too, in that like when our poker friends get together, I'm usually near the bottom in terms of strategy. I've moved up recently, but I've always had
who you been hanging out with?
Jeff Gross, man. Jeff Gross is he's like streaming 18 hours a day. He always sends me pictures of sick hands and stuff. Jeff Gross is like the energy. Jason Somerville and I are really good buddies. I ask him a lot about mixed games and life. And shout out to Jay Carver. Again, playing all the biggest W Coops, really good content. Jamie and I talk not as much anymore, but we definitely see each other once in a while. Matty Ice is crushing the game. Mm-hmm. Ryan is one of my best friends. I don't know if you know who he is. He streams. He gets between 50 and 200 people. He's doing well with mixed.
What's his name on?
Ryan Schoenbart. He's been. He's in like a.
I think I see him on Twitter before.
Ryan Schoenbart. Yeah. He's really good.
I was wondering who he was actually, because I didn't know much about him.
Yeah, he's one of my best friends. We used to play when I played 1-2 full time to make a living. I met him. He's really skilled at mixed games. Hold'em's pretty good too. It could get a little better, but I mean, so could mine. He's a good buddy. Those are my poker friends, man. It's good group. Jeff Gross, Jason, Bill. Bill's always down for some fun. I was trying to get Timex to come out and play live, but Timex is doing Timex things,
Yeah, he's doing all sorts of Timex things.
I don't know if he would consider me a friend, but I sent him messages, come hang out, mostly declines, but Timex is doing his thing, it's crypto thing, poker shares.
Yeah, he's doing Timex dating with the women. I mean, actually, he said he's off the market or something like that. So
he lives right beside me here in Canada, dude. He lives like a couple short drive away. Beautiful Canada. What's that?
Been to his house? He's got his
no
over there.
No, I have never been to his house. He's a beauty, though. He's a really good guy. Yeah. Legend, man. Young Timex, he's like 19 years old, getting in pocket jacks versus Jamie Gold. One of my favorite.
A true poker historian, Kevin Martin. I feel like I know all these same clips too, so I think I kind of want to do like a poker quiz show of just like poker hand histories. What happened? Yeah. I feel like I would do exceptionally well at that game.
Yeah, I feel like if you brought up all the famous hands and histories, I could tell them to you pretty well. What's your most epic poker hand? If you had to make a list of 1 to 10, PLO, everything, what's the number one hand that you've ever seen in the world?
I think for me, it has to be probably. I think the one I go back to is the Sammy Farha versus Patrick Antonius hand in high stakes poker, where it was queen on 9-6-3 2 diamonds, and they 7-minute discussion back and forth, and Doyle chimed in, and I think that table talk and speech right there was one of my favorite hands I've ever seen.
Yeah, very fun. The Will Kassouf versus Griffin Benger privilege, aces versus kings. That's pretty far up there, man. That caught some national. That was on like sports talk shows and stuff. My personal favorite hand is Phil Ivey has the ace-6 of diamonds, and Tom Dwan has the 8-9 of spades.
Yeah, on the boards.
Tom Dwan, 3 bets pre, bet, and he just so sick, man. That amount of money is just so incredible. I was very proud of myself this summer, though, when, obviously these equity spots are not anything like that, but I really, sometimes you can know the spot, like, oh, this is a bet. I have to bluff here and chicken out. I really took my spots, man. It was really nice it's one thing to learn the information, but to follow through. And, I ran some bluffs where I just knew it had to be a bluff. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. But, most of them worked because, look at the summer we had. Woo! We won everything. It was fun, man. There was one hand where I hero called someone, and I get excited, man. I'm an excitable person. You guys see it on my stream. When I win a hand, I jump up, I get pumped. And live poker, I won. I heroed this guy off in the sickest spot, Joey. Like, it was just so sick.
What was that? What happened?
I could tell you the hand. It was okay. He limps middle position. This is final table. I'm chip leader. He limps middle position. Small blind completes. I'm in the big blind with ace-3 of diamonds. I check. I could raise out of position, but you don't really want to bloat pots out of position against weaker opponents. I think like ace-8 suited plus I would raise, but I check ace-3 of diamonds. Flop is 8-7 deuce 2 diamonds. Nut flush draw. Great. He checks. I could lead this board for sure. I decide to check. He checks behind. Turn is a 4. No flush comes in. So 9-8 deuce 4. Small blind checks. I bet. Guy raises. Middle position raises. Checks back the flop. Raises turn. Folds to me. I'm like, okay. I could shove. That's an option. I think ace high is the best hand a decent amount of the time, though. I just call. River deuce. So what did I say the board was? 9-8.
4 deuce deuce.
4 deuce deuce. I check. He overbets pot. I have ace-3 of diamonds. I hero. And he has queen 10 offsuit for queen high. And yeah. Because I was just thinking, like when he limps pre, I can take big pairs out of his range. So he limps pre and checks back 9-8 deuce. Like I don't think he's checking back a set with the flush draw. I don't think he's checking back 9x. He doesn't have over pairs. and then he raises the turn. It didn't make a lot of sense, and then he overbets the river. So he's repping like deuce X or sets or overpairs, but all those raise pre. Like the way it worked out, it just didn't make sense. So I heroed with ace high, and I was good. And I stood up and I was like, yes! I'm like, fucking good at this game. Like I really over celebrated, and I apologized after. I'm like, sorry, man, I just got excited, and he accepted my apology. But yeah, he was a little salty. There's a couple of Calgary regs out there that were a little bit salty with my success, because they've been playing for 15 years. These are their tournaments, they're the crushers. And then I came in and really ran the whole summer, and they were a little salty, What was Elliot Roll was kind of my therapist / life coach for a while, and I struggled when like people didn't like me. I always struggled with it. It's just like not being liked is a tough feeling. You're like, wow, is that me? I always usually, okay, something I'm doing is wrong. But at the end of the day, he really taught me that it's not up to you, man, at all. A lot of times, like in Big Brother, there were some people who hated me, and they just hated me. And I would try to be nice to them, and they just hated me. And Elliot explained it to me. He's like, Kevin, you're a threat to them. When you got down to the final 7, you were in the way between them winning the game. They were threatened by you. They've invested a lot of time into this experience, and you were the major threat. So they take that out by not liking you or being mean or whatever. Same thing in, some live poker scenes. I remember trying to move up to 2-5 when I played live poker. The regs were just like hated having me there. Lots of comments, really went after me or whatever. I understand, man. I'm not going to make the 2-5 game for them. Of course they're threatened by me being there. Their hourly is not going to be as good with me at the table. So a lot of times when people, take stuff out on you, it's because you threaten their success, which in poker is pretty often. So there's a couple of regs that were pretty salty with me having the chip lead and then taking it down, It's funny. It's a different game too. I went for some value bets at the live tables, and I value own myself sometimes. Joey, what a crazy concept. You value bet a hand and he calls with better. Oh, okay. That should happen frequently. People are not going for value enough. People just like bet check river, they just don't go for 3 streets of value. Sometimes I did, and I got value owned, and then people verbalize like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And I was just like, I'm just playing my game, man. So I always take that with a grain of salt when some people think I suck, but that's okay.
They think you suck because you went for thin value in spots that they wouldn't have you in?
Like one hand was queen 8-8 deuce, and I went for a value bet. I didn't think he could have boats. I thought all of his queens would value bet river, and so I went for a value bet trying to get called by small pairs ace high, and the guy had a queen somehow, and then I was like, oh, that value bet didn't work. And then one of the regs is like, that was a terrible play. Sure, buddy. Okay. Maybe it was. I make terrible plays all the time, but
I would say I think that's a bad strategy by the reg to say that ever. I mean, I encourage players to make plays like that.
Sure. I would never verbalize that someone's playing bad. I would just be like, unlucky, to verbalize. I've never told a player in a live felt that sucked, It's like, nice call, nice play. Whatever logic they use, sometimes
it's sometimes hard when you get stacking cash and you get stacked by a guy that made an awful play, and you're like, nice play. It's really hard to not take a little condescending attitude towards them when they made a bad play. But
no, you can't though. You can't tap the glass. You're better than that, Joey, man. You're a lifelong winner. That's how you make your money, dude. I want people making bad plays.
I just remember the other day, this one guy where I was playing, because I'm trying. I think I might do the bank prop bet at 1-2 pot when I'm higher in Vegas, which is like 1-2 with a $5 bring in, where I try to make an absurd amount of money in 1 month at it. I'm still testing to see if I think it's possible. I was 50K, but it seems like it might be kind of hard.
Sorry, say that one. I missed the number. Say that one more time. You're trying to go from what to what?
50K at 1-2 pot limit Omaha live in a month.
Holy shit! In a month? Wow.
I'm testing it out.
So your hourly has to be really high, and you have to play a lot of hours. That's insane. That's a lot, but that's a cool goal, though. I like that.
Yeah, and so I've been playing some more of the game down at the Win lately, because it's down the street. I just go walk there, and this one guy who came over from No Limit got it in super fucking. It just got in awful against me basically, and then binked the river, and he's like, "Oh, that's my card," and like I couldn't. This guy made an awful fucking play, just completely awful, and then he's like, "Yeah," I don't know what. Yeah, all right, and then he started talking about his dick, and he talked about how he had my small Asian dick, baby. This is for me. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Like I beat Big Dick Rick. I'm like, what is? I don't know what's going on first with this guy, but he just kept like making comments like that, and I couldn't help myself. I was like, I mean, listen, dude, like like you made an awful play. What are you talking about right now? Like, why are you yelling? But I got to let that guy yell. I got to let that guy cheer in my face as he binks the 8%er on me on that river. I just got to let him do it. I got to.
You have to. You can't. Just got to take that information. Yeah, you can't. Like I've stood up for players too. Not even when I'm involved, but two people berating each other. It's like, guys, come on. I want to say you both suck. You've never studied in your life, but I wouldn't. People like to make themselves feel better by putting down other people's, and you see that in poker sometimes too. So, and I mean, he's true. It might have been bad. It might have been terrible, but it wasn't his place to say. But what can you do, man?
I got a question about something I've been thinking about lately. And okay, so let's take someone like Jason Somerville, Jay Carver.
Legend.
Why do you think Jay Carver is as popular as he is?
He was one of the first ones to do it. He's really good at marketing himself. He has a great understanding of how to outsource work. So he has a lot of people around him that do a lot for him, which is smart because then he has more time to stream. And he streamed he was one of the first ones to do it. He plays the highest stakes. Everything. He plays mixed games, which is really good variety. He just hits all these goals, Someone like me, if I wanted to increase my stream, it would be nice to increase my average buy-in. And, if I played the highest stakes, that would really be nice. But he's an incredible poker player. He's a bit of a legend before, like his name was well known, and he just markets everything well. He has a great understanding of how Twitch works. He was the first guy ever. He paid a full-time mod. So a mod is paid in his chat, and every time there's a question, someone answers. They feel included in the community. Like no one else did this before him. So he's a great understanding the game and beating the game. Legend.
Yeah, I always try to think about lately, you mentioned about people hating on other people, and you see some people in poker that get universal love, but then a lot of players get a lot of hatred or they get a lot of negativity. So let's take Doug Polk, for example. Why do you think Doug Polk is not as well-liked as Jason Somerville is?
He's polarized. A lot of people love him and a lot of people don't like him, but I think more people love him than not. I feel like a lot of people, it's not 50-50. A lot more people love Doug Polk than don't like.
Well, his content. More people in the poker community, it's more like 70-30 don't like him.
Yeah, maybe more like 85-15 or something. I think a lot of people love him anyway because Doug Polk creates polarizing content. He takes shots at people, he calls people out. Jason doesn't do this. Jason stays away from Doug Polk is more in the Logan Paul-esque brand of calling people out. Oh, let's do he had the Jay Nandez, the Alec Torelli, he D-negs. He really goes after people, and that does drive his content up. It gets a lot of clicks, but at the same time, some people don't love that. Jason would never do that, but I respect both forms of content. I find both entertaining. I get drawn into the Doug Polk, Jay Nandez controversy. I'm a sucker for that. Oh, what's he gonna say now? Yeah.
Well, people love the drama so much, but then the person that creates the drama, they dislike, but they love it. And it's a very weird idea for me. It doesn't make much sense to me why people love it and can't look away from it, but they hate the person that's creating it. It's just, I don't know.
For sure. I mean, Doug Polk, he's a drama queen, I think he would admit that. He seeks it out and he puts the drama public, and he, his D-negs thing and everything. And I respect it because it creates his content. I've hung out with Doug Polk. We've gotten along. I think we're friendly, but I mean, he loves the drama.
He does. I don't know I think he would say he
has to. He has to. He's definitely a super self-aware. And he's a strategy guy too. That's one of the reasons he became the best heads-up player ever, is he understands how games work. YouTube's a game. The algorithm's a game. How you capitalize, how you grow an audience is very, very gamey.
My favorite social media game by far is Twitter. I don't know why. I just love Twitter. It's so fun. I don't know. I'm doing Buffett on there. I just basically I took Warren Buffett's, the fake Warren Buffett account, and I turned him into Poker List. It just
hilarious. Yeah.
Game on there so much more fun. Instagram, I don't really want to post photos of myself, and on YouTube, I don't really want to upload a 10-minute video every single day, and I don't want to talk about things I don't want to just talk about drama. I don't really want to talk about No Limit. So it kind of, and I'm not going to stream my play, so it kind of takes away a lot of the things for me that would be content I think you want to see. So it's I don't really like YouTube as much, but I love Twitter, man. Twitter's
my favorite one. Twitter's my favorite thing for sure.
Yeah. Let's take a couple more questions, guys, in the chat, and I'm trying to keep this right about this time period. Wrap it up here. Someone says, is Sasha getting paid to be a full-time moderator? Sasha gets paid with knowledge about the great game, a pot limit Omaha, and also she gets paid with knowledge about how to be a winning poker player from me. So she's making a very high hourly. If you want to go follow her on Instagram, it's at PokerStasha. She posts regular chip stacks where she crushes the donks down to win in the
I think I do follow her.
You
Sounds
should.
familiar.
If you want to see big chip stacks and a very a
Poker
lot of
Sasha. A lot of my favorite poker follows on Twitter are female. Jamie Kerstetter, D Moon, I've never met her. Boney Kenny. I'm probably saying her name wrong.
Oh, Ebony Kenny.
Oh, you're a big fan. I know you're a big fan of Ebony Kenny.
We've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, she's very fun, very free spirited. Oh, do you know who's crushing the game? I can't say her name. Kirsten Becknell. Holy moly,
Kirsten Becknell.
She's a savage. Oh my lordy.
Yeah, she is definitely sick.
Yeah, she's a just. Would you put any female poker player above her right now in the game?
I'd put Sasha Liu above her, but yeah, I think she's one of the best tournament players right now. I'd say. Yeah, but she's a long-time online player. She used to be a Supernova Elite grinder, and she's a fucking beast. So yeah,
she's a savage. I'm a little sad that Vanessa Selpst called it GG. You know, a little bit sad. She was one of my favorites. One of my a funny little story is like I was playing with Vanessa Selpst at a charity tournament, and I just met her. You know, I'm the new kid on PokerStars. Hey, Vanessa, how you doing? And everyone's drinking, shoving, or whatever. And I played a hand just like whatever, and she's like after the hand. So Kevin, you should really check back the nut flusher on the flop there. You need to balance your range. You need to have that. She's very alpha, you know, Vanessa Selpst. It's like, whoa, it's a charity tournament. And I mean, it's valuable. It's probably amazing information. And then my girlfriend is trying to small talk her and she's just not having it. And Peely's like, Vanessa, do you play a lot? You know, are you a poker player? And here's one of the best female players of all time. You know, I did ask her about the Jack 7 of
that.
What's that?
You say to that? What was her answer?
Oh, she gave Peely a look. She doesn't hide her emotions very well. Vanessa Sells, very alpha, she's like, she was a little bit ticked off, but you know, I had fun with her.
Well, I do have to thank Vanessa Sells for giving me my favorite tweet maybe ever with the theme of her.
The Jack 7.
Yeah.
That's another top 10 poker hand. If I had to make a list, that's up there, man. She gets in, she shoves the Jack.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. Doug Polk's video about balancing out the range with her was hilarious.
Gets 3-bet and just bam, fucking boom. Okay.
Yeah. Not even like it's not even like ace 2 of diamonds or something. It's Jack 7, which you know, blocks free lens bluffs if there are any. But
beautiful hand,
it's fun times,
that
man.
hand's great. Watch that hand once a day, actually.
She's a legend though. She would really some of the spots she took are she was really ahead of the game in some of these 4-bet shove spots and stuff, man. She would just fucking power through a tournament like no one ever could, you know? And she was pretty crazy. What was her? Didn't she stack off in the main event this year in some insane spot?
I remember. So. I don't know what the hand that she had, but I think it was. Yeah, it was a controversial hand. People were giving her shit about it. I don't know. I think she gets a lot of shit for some of the plays, but I think she's been playing like that for a long time, and that's not. A lot of times it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I mean, I want to encourage plays like that. I don't really want to berate someone because they decided to make an aggressive play in a spot where they believe.
For sure.
So
no, they're good. They're applying pressure, and you know that's how she wins tournaments. Sure, she punts sometimes, but she wins tournaments. You gotta punt it, man. If you never punt it off, you're not playing aggressive enough. Like some of these, like some people send me hand histories or stats from Poker Tracker, and it's just like they're just so cautious. Check back flop, get 1 street of value. No, go for 3 streets when possible. And like sometimes, if you never punt off a tournament, you're not trying to win it hard enough. I mean, you are, but you're just not playing aggressive enough. Got to go for it, Joey.
It might be a quote graphic, a Kevin Martin quote. That might be my first Kevin Martin quote graphic I create.
Yeah, if you got to get caught bluffing sometime too. Or else you're under bluffing, and you have to value on yourself, or you're not going for value often enough. I got the Twitter. I want to fire up some lab here. Let's get the PIO open. Let's do some work here, Joey.
I know you're pumped up. I'm excited about it. I'm ready to play tournaments. I don't know. I've been thinking about playing some have I? I kind of have been thinking about playing because I want to play online, and it makes the most sense that you can at least beat the out of line activity going on is tournaments. Like yellow cash, I mean, you can beat it, but it's like,
But you're still in America, right?
yeah, there's some sites here you can play for. I mean, for tournaments, actually, no, there's
It's
not.
tough. There's a few, but it's tough.
Yeah, yeah. Almost a kind of what the WSOP. Yeah. I don't know. I don't
Dude,
know.
they're
I don't
so
know.
far behind.
For me, so I know a couple
Yeah.
more shout outs guys in the chat, and then we're gonna wrap things up. Ricardo Perez, what up, Poppy? Lars Vegas, you said some weird shit. I'm not gonna give you a shout out. Andrew L, what's going on, man? As always, much love to you. Good luck with your quitting weed, my friend. Poker Sasha once again holding it down in the chat. Original Mind Trick. What up, Big Poppy? What's happening, Papito? Alex cousin Travis Torelli in the chat. What's up, Travis? Welcome back to the stream. Reno Grinder out there. Richard Jaglarski. Sasha's killing the little dicks at the win.
Poker Sasha.
All Balky, my guy. What's up, All Balky? Jacob Weidman. What's up, Jacob? What's happening, man? You got any shout outs you want to give, Kev? You want to give a shout out to somebody out there?
Yeah, like I said, Ryan Schoonbar killing it on Twitch. Just the Twitch streamers, man. I mean, I could load it up right now, but every time I've gone on during this W Coop, there's been so many amazing options, and you really respect it. These Lex guys and these Jay Carvers and these Tonka guys. I mean, at the same time, they're going to lose a lot or win a lot, but they're playing the hardest games on the internet live for your entertainment, where they're showing hole cards and stuff. Like, these games are not easy, and they're just fully showing their whole cards to everyone out there. So, I mean, good luck to those lads. And Jamie Staples wins the prop bet. He's back on Twitch. He's got a girlfriend. He's thriving. He's doing really well. So, yeah, I mean, everyone on Twitch Poker is killing it.
Yeah, a lot of people stream on Twitch now, man. Yeah, Lex looks like he's the Lex is the number one guy on Twitch, huh?
Huge dude. Yeah, he's done everything right in terms of the community and making people feel involved. Consistency, highest stakes, entertaining. He plays so fast too. I'm much slower in like online poker. I never like making snap decisions and just think. And I'm much slower. And Lex just like she's like speed running the game. You know, he's so fast.
He did mass table for a very long time, so he.
Yeah, I guess he just knows the right decision right away, and you know doesn't really wait to press the button. So yeah, man, Twitch content is peaking. We'll see, buddy.
All right, guys. We're wrapping up here. If you want to watch it back, you can watch it back on YouTube or on iTunes. I'll have one more podcast this week. I'm not unsure who it'll be with. If you want to follow Kevin, he's on Twitch at Kevin Martin.
Yep, just Kevin Martin on Twitch. There used to be a few digits, but we changed the name. So just Twitch Kevin Martin. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, Kevin Rob Martin. But yeah, I've been a little less active lately, you know, just slowing things down. We'll see, man.
Well, we'll be looking forward to you coming back, my friend. I'm excited for you to get back out there. Goal of potentially poker bracelet.
Yeah.
Now at the PCA.
How about I just win the 25K? I'll just win the 25K. How sick would that be, man? Oh,
that would be amazing. I very much would love that. That would be amazing.
Oh, I hope a good guy gets up there, you know. I hope someone I like wins that thing. You know, just like Lex wins the 25K or something, you know. Matt Staples wins the 25K.
That would be fucking epic. Yes, it would be very epic. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be one of the most popular tournaments of all time in poker, I feel like. I think it's just going to be.
Yeah, it'll be legendary. Dude, thank you for having me. We hit lots of conversations. Could talk for hours, dude. We covered a lot of stuff. And thank you for the kind words, man. The journey's been fun, and we'll see where it goes, you know?
No problem. Definitely. I'm excited to see where it goes, too. So, guys in the chat, much love. I'm out of here. Peace out.
Peace.
Take care.